Double Trouble Entertainment, episode 3.
Three.
I'm Benji. This is my identical twin, Moshe, aka the Watch King. And I have a special guest today, Adriana, aka the non-Jewish nanny.
Yep.
Now, I'll give you a little introduction for like a minute and then we'll give her the floor. Adriana is non-Jewish, and she's a nanny for Jewish kids in Boca Raton.
Like very from
family.
religious
And
kids.
I met her through my restaurant called Smash House, and one of my operators told me, "Hey, there's this non-Jewish woman, and she nannies for religious children. Get her to talk about us." And I reached out to her on Facebook, and I think she had, then 10,000 followers, something like that.
Yeah.
Instagram. And she came. And
I wanted to try faking.
and she really enjoyed it. And since then, we're friends. So she really helped our business. She was one of the first ones that really helped our business. After she came, it really started flying. Like that week, I was telling Itzy, I'm like, wow.
Because to this day, people still associate with me. They're like, "Oh, what's that burger place? We're coming to Florida. We want to try that place." And now you finally have a location open in the city. Thank God. But like, it's
So this is going to
funny.
be interesting to meet and get to know Adriana. So welcome.
Thank
Please tell
you.
us a little about yourself. Where you from? How?
No, I mean, I think the whole reason I do business with a lot of different business owners, but the whole reason I've always been super loyal to Smash House and also kept in contact with you is because, like, throughout my journey in the religious world, being that I'm not Jewish and this is all so new to me, like, I've met so many amazing people, and I also, though, can meet so many not so amazing people, and you're always super a real OG true
Ooh, thank you.
person, like, really.
Thank you.
I always tell people you should just support Smash House because it's amazing, but also the owner is like grade A, a really good person.
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Thank you. See, I'm not that bad after all. So, please tell us who you are, how you were raised.
Yeah.
Because you have a very, very, very interesting story to tell.
So first of all, I like to clear the air saying, like, I did not sit down one day saying, like, I'm going to make an Instagram account about not being Jewish and like how I love Jewish people. People are always like, why? Like, why? Why do you like Jewish people? Like, why? What's the point of this? And I'm like, well, first I started making videos about my life. I used to be an opera singer. I used to be a bottle girl in South Florida, Miami area. And then I used to be a nanny. My life was pretty interesting because, like, during the day, I'd be going to nanny for these kids, super religious families. Before I learned about like tznius and modesty through them, like I wouldn't be like so not tznius, but then I started to be like more modest and tznius around them. And then I would go home, do that during the day, go home, drink a Celsius, and then I go literally put on an outfit that like you would never want to ever, I would never ever like show, but like, and then I would go to the nightclub, and I was at the event last night, and I was like, it's so crazy. I used to work at events that
Right.
you walk through the crowd half dressed, and that was my life. But it was such a double life, and I loved it. It was good for me in the time, but then slowly but surely, I found so much beauty and like joy out of like my job with the kids and the Jewish community specifically that I left that life because it was more fulfilling to do this. So, and then my whole page took off.
So how old were you when
Um,
you started nannying?
Yeah, so I moved to South Florida during COVID, like 2020. I'm from Florida. Went to Florida State University. Always worked at bars and like nightclubs and stuff. I was like a bar. I've done every job, like hostess, server, bartender, whatever you want to call it, bottle girl. And then I moved to South Florida for grad school, but also for a boy, kind of. Yeah, a boy I was dating at the time. I love Florida, but I did choose my grad school kind of based on him. But it's all hashgacha pratit, as they say, because
What a big
Bashar,
word.
we
See me that on the
say-
spot. Put it on the floor.
because, you know, and then living in Boca brought me to the Jewish community, but then I lived there. So I've been working in the Jewish community for like 4 years now. The page is like a year and a half old at this point. It definitely took off pretty fast.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but it all happened step by step, and I never thought I'd be in this situation, and I didn't really know like Jewish people at all until I moved to Boca. Like every Jewish person I met was always like, "We're Jewish. I'm Jewish," and I was like, "Okay."
Was it
I'm
weird for you
Christian.
the first time?
No, like, well, it happened little by little. I always tell a story about how I got my first nanny job and they were like, we're Jewish, is that okay? And I was like, well, why would you say that? Like, of course, whatever. I don't care where you are, whatever, great. And I grew up Christian. I grew up like religious Christian. So a lot of Jews sometimes have the misconception because there are so many crazy Christian people out there, like that Christian people hate Jews or they think like you killed. There are people who think this, but I was never taught. I was always
the Jews killed Jesus.
Yeah, they think yeah. They think
Right?
at the end of the day, they think though like
They ratted him out.
they don't realize
Yeah.
that we are. You're right. He knows his parsha, but they don't realize
It's
that
in the Gemara.
I was always taught, like, as somebody who was raised Christian, like, no, like, Jews are also, like, your people, you support them type of thing. Like, and so I never, ever had any sort of hatred towards a Jewish person, but I never knew a religious Jew in my life. Like, one of the most horrible things I've ever said. And I speak about it publicly now because I'm so different, but I was uneducated. I was at Florida State. I've never done drugs in my entire life, being that I was a party girl working in the night industry. I never did.
And you were never offered drugs being about, I'm sure you were offered.
Always. I've never smoked
Especially in
weed.
Miami.
I've never, like, nothing. I've never even smoked. And this guy was sitting with the bar, He had a massive, like, Jewish star. Like,
Magen David, yeah.
Yeah, on this necklace, gold, whatever. And he's, like, pushing me to do, like, cocaine. He's like, just do a line of blow, do a line of blow. And I'm like, I don't do that, I don't do that.
When was
and then
this?
I say to him, I said, what's that?
When was this? When was this?
This was Florida State University, and I was like
Oh,
a
when you-
freshman, sophomore in college. And I said, what is this, what the story here? I kind of knew it was Jewish, but I didn't really know. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm Jewish, yeah, like I'm Jewish. And I was like, so then why are you trying to tell me, like, why are you trying to tell me to do cocaine and you're wearing this Jewish star so proudly as a religious person? It'd be equivalent to me walking around the bar saying, I'm a Christian, let's do blow. I was like, why are you doing that? I thought that was because I thought Jewish religion, I didn't realize it's so much of an ethnicity and also like
Right.
upbringing of like, I'm Jewish, like, and it was very ignorant of me to say, but like, that was my exposure to Jews of like, I'm Jewish, and it stopped there. And they did nothing differently than no one else would.
Exactly.
And I thought it was a joke. I thought I was always so confused why people were so Jewish. I'm like, I don't walk around going, I'm Christian. Like, I never understood it.
That's so interesting.
And
Wow.
then he got really mad at me, by the way, when I said that. He was like, oh, that's effed up, da-da-da-da. And I was like,
Really?
yeah, it was effed up. I didn't mean to do it. But like, I was being honest. I was like, you're over here flaunting around the fact that your
Jewish.
religion, by the way, is what I saw it
Right.
as.
And you're doing coke.
And then you're doing something, I said, that's bad, because in Christianity, they would teach you, like, it's very similar, by the way, too, with, like, Christianity and Judaism. It's very similar
Correct.
with modesty and morals. It's all very similar. But then I moved to Boca, make long story short, and I met, like, my nanny families, which I tell you, like I said, you go to their house any week, and there's not a thing out of line for Shabbos. Like, I always tell, like, rabbis and stuff, I'm like, if you're interested to know, like, the Boca Jews, like, they're upkeeping everything, and they're amazing people. And I was like, this is different than this is Judaism to me, like understanding it more,
Right.
So it's definitely different.
Did you feel like, were you culture shocked when you first came into
Like
the
I said,
house?
it happened very slowly. I walked into the house, they said hi. I only watched them for an hour every day after school in the beginning. Only feed them snacks from the closet.
Right? They were super nice.
So nice.
Right?
And only feed them snacks from this closet and only use paper utensils. Bye. So, okay. At first I started thinking, these people hate doing dishes. They're rich. they're rich and they don't care. They're just going to use the paper. Very wasteful, whatever. And then, the kids started to like, little things started to come up, like about whether it be they bring their projects home from school. I read their homework with them. But with kosher and stuff, I remember one time I was cutting an apple and the kid was like freaking out. Like he was only like 7 at the time, but this kid taught me everything. He wants to be a doctor and a rabbi. I said, you will be. Don't worry, you will be. Because dad's a doctor too. But he said like, oh, that's the wrong knife, and you can't put that knife in the sink. And I was like, what is going on? Like, and when I first thought kosher, I thought not meat and cheese, like not a cheeseburger and not bacon. That's all I thought.
You didn't know there was
did not know. It was literally so stringent of like, this fork will never touch, not even sit in the same drawer as another fork that ever touched. I had no clue.
Was that weird to you?
It was just wild. And I think what I've learned on this journey is like there are people who they hear it and they're like, that's crazy. They don't want to go any further. They literally are like, wow, interesting, crazy.
Right.
That stopped. And me, I was like, crazy, tell me more. I'd be like, tell me why. What do I do if I touch this? What do you do if you eat this? Why do you do this? And these kids, like I said, the biggest brand deal I could ever say was for Torah Academy in Boca Raton.
Yeah,
They
they're good.
know everything. They would listen, oh, well, because in this, and Hashem told us this, and da-da-da. And in the Torah it says, I was like, wow. And I was so interested to learn because it was a culture shock. And then that was the first family. And then I would start to go work at other houses. And then I would see things
Was
that
it from
were,
word of mouth? That's like,
Word of
oh,
mouth.
she's good, right? In the Jewish
and
community,
they probably
it's
were
very
like,
big.
she dresses like this, and she's not Jewish, but like she's good. And I always say, why did they hire me? I would show up to these religious houses in sports bra, leggings, short shorts, and be like, hey, I'm here with the kids, and they'd be like, okay, they love you for some reason, but like, and I'm like, they didn't care.
It
They-
wasn't a Hasidic community then, right? It was more of the modern Orthodox, I guess.
That's the thing, though. The Boca community is very religious and Orthodox, but that's what I think is so beautiful is that they never, other than the school, this one time I can tell you the story, but
Yeah.
they never, if they didn't want to hire me, they must have just never hired me. But like, they didn't care. They said, oh, she's not Jewish, dresses like a shiksa, whatever. But like, she,
Dresses like a shit.
yeah, but like, she takes care of our kids. She's a good person, and they always never made me feel uncomfortable about so many things.
But
Like,
But also, you didn't know.
I didn't
that
know.
You're like, okay, I'm showing up to someone else's house. I'm just going to come the way I dress.
I was like, oh, it's hot outside and I do athletic stuff with the kids. I'm wearing like workout clothes or I'm going to a workout class after. And I had no clue. And they'd never made me feel bad for that. And it
That's
was
amazing.
They
Wow.
were really, and there were definitely Jewish people out there who would say like, don't come any further. Like,
That's the people I want to become.
yeah.
That's who we should all become, like the people you worked for,
Yeah.
who accepted you with open arms, no matter what you look like.
Yeah. No matter my background, what I look like.
That's what I
that
think. That's
didn't-
what I think Judaism is about. Religion is about, not these Hasidic extremists.
Yeah.
The people you worked for, who accepted you. Because of that, you learned so much.
They
'Cause
were,
You felt so welcome. You felt so at home. You felt like you're part of them.
I mean, they really, and like I can get into it, but another big step was I worked for these people and I was in a relationship with a guy who ended up being abusive, like horrible relationship.
Well, yeah.
I ended up finally leaving him based on, I've always been religious. I prayed one night. Bad things would always happen. You know, he'd get drunk and I'd get drunk too and it always be bad. And I just knew I pray. He was an atheist too. And I was always religious, always Christian. And so
Oh,
I
wow.
thought, I prayed to God one night, God, I'm not strong enough to leave this man, but I know he's not for me because if he was for me, he would be a believer in you. Please hurt me so badly that I have no choice, but I have to leave. And it didn't take him putting his hands on me, breaking things, screaming at me to leave, but caught him like not even 2 weeks later, cheating on me on
wow.
his phone. And finally, I remember feeling a wave of like, thank you. I hated him. I left every feeling for him when I knew I'd never go back. And then I said, well, now what am I going to do? Because he paid for our rent. And I was in grad school. I didn't make any money. I depended on my parents and him. And the Jewish community, these moms, I would sit there and I finally started to open up of like, you think I should leave, right? And they were like, Adriana, yes. And they were like the person who I needed to hear. And then I did kick him out. I did leave. It ended with me having to get a restraining order against him because he ended up stalking me.
Wow.
But
So
And
much
this
for
family
anything.
basically took you in like,
these families, when they found out, I said to them, hey, I have to maybe miss work. And also if you see this car ever, like tell the gate, don't let it in and stuff. And they said to me, like, if you need money, we'll give you money. If you need a place to live, you can live with us. We can pay for your lawyer or we know your lawyer. We know lawyers that can be your lawyer. Like they literally were like, we will give you whatever you need. When not my mother, but my father is somebody who I financially depended on for a lot. When I asked him for money for a lawyer, he said no.
wow.
Because he didn't have the money for that. He would have the money for something I could, I think, show online that he bought me or show what amazing he was. But to say my father gave me all this money to get a restraining order against my boyfriend, he said, sorry, maybe you shouldn't have been an idiot and dated such an asshole, is what he said. And I said,
That's crazy.
wow, it really changed my relationship with that. And then these Jewish people who I'm not Jewish. I was not like them at all. I was the opposite of them. They said like,
And you weren't even dressing like you weren't even
Nothing.
you weren't even playing the part. You were just being
Nothing.
yourself.
just me.
Wow.
And they literally said like, we'll do whatever it needs. If you don't want to take our money, we'll just give you whatever work it is. I ended up never taking money from them. I ended up getting a job at a nightclub being a bottle girl, making thousands of dollars a night.
Right.
Oh, it's good money like that.
Great money. But my point is like that for me was like these people are special, and growing up Christian where you were taught they're technically going to hell.
Right.
That moment I said, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And it really changed me of like, they are special, unique people. And that's why I really like to speak about this story, as hard as it is, and inspire Jews all over that whether you're religious or not, something you should always be proud of is that you are Jewish and that you are different. Like keeping Shabbos is ridiculous. Keeping
Right.
kosher might be ridiculous. And no one else in the world does it for a reason. Hashem made it that way.
Right.
To keep, because you're special and you have special neshamas, you have special hearts. I really do believe that. And it's when you are somebody who's not from that and you have the outside world, not that you guys take it for granted, but a lot of times you take it for granted. You don't see how people are not like that in the world, and the Jewish people are.
Want to say anything?
Absorbing information.
Hey, and not once again, not all Jews are like that for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I'll never sit here and say.
But this
you
is
know.
this is why I want to do this, is because
So you
Judaism
believe that
is-
it's part of
Let
the restrictions are part because you're a special breed.
We can get into how I think all of the 613 laws, you might see them as laws, but I think they're actually 613, I would say 613 ways that you have to be mindful and connect to God
Correct.
in the most mundane activities. So some people say it's an annoying law and I don't want to eat kosher pizza today because it's $12 a slice. And
Not the money.
uh,
So for me, the not kosher is not the money aspect. It's the aspect that it tastes better. I mean, or for me, look, it's more comfortable to go into a restaurant.
it's easier.
and it's
Anywhere
cheaper
in the
too, by
world.
the
It's
way.
easier.
Forget the money,
If you're
okay.
not eating kosher, it's
Easier to go
it's
anywhere.
cheaper. But I think, once again, I think the beauty in it is that by something as simple as eating, you have to think. If you're fully kosher, you have to think, I'm a Jew and I eat kosher because like I want to be,
Different.
I am different. You say I am different and I'm doing this because I worship Hashem, whatever you want to see it
Right.
as. And you have to take that step. It's not that you're going to shul davening. Like you could go to shul daven 3 times a day and that's you connecting to God. Okay, but you could also tie your shoe in a different order or eat a kosher piece of pizza, walk 15 minutes out of the way, or pay, or go hungry and eat a banana when everyone else is eating a bacon cheeseburger, because like you're just being mindful of like your religion and connection with God, and no other religion has that really.
What if you don't enjoy it? Then you think you should do it?
I think if you don't enjoy it, then you unfortunately, well, like I said, it's hard. I always question. We said this before. I talked to Benji about this before. Like, I think, look at me. Of course, like I choose to like. I was not born Jewish. I didn't know anything about this world, and I got involved with it. And I find the beauty in things, and I choose the things I find beautiful to think are beautiful. But I could never imagine how it must feel to be. You were born Jewish. You had no choice,
Correct.
and you're being told you must eat this way. And what if you don't want to? Like, what if I decide I want, the girls with the sneas too, like, what if you don't want to be sneas, but like you have to be because that's what your community only really allows. And maybe I got the choice to now I do enjoy being sneas and more modest, whatever you want to call it,
You
but
enjoy
like,
it.
I personally do for a lot of more reasons with the bottle service industry. And I've just also become more mature, like for sure, like when you get older, but
Right.
I always have that question of like, I understand why you would be like, well, this sucks. I never got the choice, and you have to do it. I think what you should do is, what I think you should do is, you should seek an inspiration of, whether it be through books, through a special rabbi, or maybe somebody you look up to and say like, why do you eat kosher? Why do you dress this way? And why do you keep Shabbat this way? And maybe get that inspiration, because I think once you have the inspiration and connection, then you do enjoy it. But you also, I'm sure everyone has different levels too. It's a journey, I'd say.
It just proves that if you do it with love and not forced, like, oh, if you don't do this, this is gonna happen, right? The way we went to school and the way it was taught to
A
us.
lot of my friends,
I'm not,
exactly.
A lot of your
I'm
friends,
not
yeah.
kosher at all.
Fine.
Now I took upon myself.
Wait, let me finish this. Hold on.
Go ahead.
So it shows when you do it with love and teaching about God and saying how beautiful it is to be,
To be
you're home every
Jewish and
Shabbos, you're home
different.
Friday night, stuff like. Then we get into the nitty gritty. What's keeping Shabbos? That's already. I'm talking about the ma'atefet, the surrounding, right?
Yeah.
That's what's great about it.
And that's the thing, like when it comes to Shabbos, right?
But when you do it forcefully,
there is one day in the entire year of the non-Jewish world
right?
that you have a Shabbos, essentially. I mean, you could have different families. My family, for example, my family didn't even like Thanksgiving because my mom didn't cook, whatever. And my mom works in the medical field. She would always work. My dad travels for work and stuff. Christmas and Thanksgiving, the only 2 days of the entire year that you're really together as a family. Everyone has off of work. And even then, you're still on your phones. There's nothing really that different about that day. So then for the Jewish people, and that's why I think they're so special, so connected, so different, and it's amazing, is for every week, whatever your observance be. By the way, a lot of people will not observe a lot of things I see, but they will turn their phone off on Shabbos, or they'll stop working somewhat. It depends.
Right.
So I'm the opposite.
You don't care?
I mean, I spend time with my kids or whatever,
Yeah.
but then I won't work.
Yeah.
But I'll be on my phone.
It's still different.
Like they go to sleep.
Yeah,
I'll
but you
be
don't go
my
on the
phone.
table on the Shabbat meal and whip out your phone.
No, unless it's important, I won't do it. Right? But
It's different.
I won't do that. But I'll try. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do because this is my battle.
Right.
Right.
It's a struggle. It depends.
The same thing with the kosher. So for me, it's all. We were born confined and restricted. Right?
Yeah.
So you're basically born in a prison. So once you get out of the
That's
prison,
how you feel.
right? You're
That's what I was
an
trying to say
Like an
before.
animal which gets released from like the
Animal
zoo,
soul.
right? He's running around. So I've been doing this for the past 10 years, 15 years now. 10 years, let's say, solidly, where I'm less religious.
Since your 30s.
I'm less religious now.
Mhm.
I'm saying I don't keep kosher at all. I try. So
No, living
now-
it out in the open. What are you? 7 years maybe in the open, like
in
this
the open, yeah, 7 years. I was hiding.
Mm-hmm.
for 20.
By the way, a little casual of a topic, but I laugh so hard because now I know, like I said, I know all the secrets
Right.
of things, and I laugh because I'll go to a casino or go to a club and you'll see a Jew in a baseball cap and a polo, and I'm like, that's a Jew,
you're Hasidus.
and you're hiding.
And you can see it now. Like,
but
yeah, I see you.
any normal non-Jewish person
What-
doesn't think twice. They're like, why is that guy wearing a hat inside? Whatever. But they're wearing that because they're trying to hide from Jews because
Right.
they're maybe not in a kosher place. But then I'm like, the only people who care that you're not in a kosher place are Jews. But you're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling the Jews.
You know what I always say? The fact that you're there and somebody sees you, he can't be there too. So who gives a shit what you look like,
and
right?
then you're both there, and you're like,
Everybody's
like,
scared of the
good
other
thing,
guy
right?
seeing you.
So
But
they
if
try
I
to
see
be-
you there, we're
yeah.
both not supposed to be here. We're both going to keep our mouth shut.
they'll be low key, and I'm
We
like,
call them tuna bagels
the
in
only
our language.
what do you call
But
them?
back,
Tuna bagels.
like tuna bagels.
Tuna bagels.
So
I
basically,
love them. You know, I'm like, if a non-Jewish person would never even think that's someone who's Jewish
Right.
not eating kosher. They don't even know
So
what kosher is.
I think somebody like her or like people who did it by choice. are
right?
The people who should teach
Judaism, not the ones who are
Children.
trying to force it down their throat. Exactly.
about the beauty of religion.
Well,
so me, for now, the reason why, because we were forced, so I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I try to understand, because I don't think that kosher is.
You have kids, you said? How old are they?
My son is already
Oh boy,
12.
I'm putting you on the pressure because dads never know what school the kids go to or how old the kids
My
are.
kids are old enough. They're almost teenagers.
So
My kids are religious, so they go to yeshiva and
Yeah.
they wear yarmulkes. But again, I give them the choice.
that's amazing. Maybe you didn't have that growing up, and so
No.
you did that in your kids.
So we
and
grew up with
maybe,
no TV.
Yeah.
Right? You told her how we grew up, like with no television.
No, you can tell her.
I didn't know actually so much
we,
that he was so
grew up
religious.
Hasidic, so we grew up very restricted. No TVs. I'm sure the places where you were babysitting or being a nanny, they had TVs at home and they were.
It depended on the
modern.
house. It depended on
Yeah,
the
but-
house. Yeah.
There's doctor. There's no doctors in my house. They're all rabbis.
They're all rabbis. Yeah.
Like, there's no doctors in our house besides me and him and my other brother-in-law who works. Everybody else is learning all day.
Yeah, they're.
But people like you should teach. So I would listen to somebody like you over a rabbi
Yeah, because
because I live
I've
what you
seen-
lived.
I think exactly.
see the
I like
beauty
to
in it.
inspire because I understand why you feel this way, and that's why I said, "How old are your kids?" Because I said I have seen it in my own nanny kids up until probably I'd say maybe the age of like bar mitzvah, like 12. They think it's so beautiful. It's exciting. It's you know, I got a mitzvah. No, I'm Shabbos Ima at
Right.
school.
Yeah.
Look at my Shabbos dress. You know, we're eating kosher. I'll tell you right now, I'll be at an ice cream store. It's not kosher. Never another word. They don't question it. Like, they think, I love to be kosher because Hashem told us, I love Hashem. Hashem loves me. And they're beautiful. I've even seen, though, by age 12, they go to a school, not the school I mentioned earlier, but they'll go to a school where they say, the rabbi will tell the girls, you should maybe not look in the mirror so much because that's not so sneeze of you, because you could start to admire yourself and think too highly of yourself. I've seen these like Beis Yaakov type girls where they tell them, you know, if you have your hair too long, you wear makeup and you have your nails painted, tie your hair back, that's wrong, we'll kick you out. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because I think sneeze, for example, like the way I was exposed to it between kids and all the people in my life is like, oh yeah, you're supposed to date a princess, a daughter of Hashem. Princesses are beautiful. Princesses wear makeup. Princesses have a lot of long hair. Like, you should still feel good about yourself. It's about like the way you hold and represent yourself. But so I have seen through their age where then the toxic, I think, comes in as you get older, because it gets more serious of like, okay, so we are eating kosher, but it's because if not, you could be going to hell. Like,
Yeah,
and then,
that's exactly what we do.
that's unfortunate. And I'm not, like I said, nobody knows what happens after we die. Really, no one knows. Again, we all have trust. We know
Believe.
we have a relationship with God, but nobody really knows. And so I think I do like to inspire, though, that like it's a journey. Like, though people say like, no, if you're Jewish, you should be fully everything. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's what you're taught. But like, it's a journey, and pretend you go like off the derech for a bit, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years. But like, you find somebody who inspires you, or something that inspires you for even a little bit of a change. Instead of maybe using your phone, you stop using your phone. Maybe instead of not eating non-kosher, you eat only dairy
So I
or
know
only
I have
pareve.
Friday,
Like,
Saturday, Sunday, I keep kosher.
Mad respect for that.
so
I do 3 days.
I have a lot of
week.
respect
Friday,
for that, by the
Saturday,
way,
Sunday, I keep kosher. Usually Friday I eat Chick-fil-A, whatever. Sorry. But
Chick-fil-A,
usually-
by the way, makes me so sick. I haven't eaten Chick-fil-A in like over a
Fridays,
year.
Fridays, I don't eat it. I have Smash, no.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sundays where I started keeping kosher. I
Good
said I'm
people
gonna
like
try
Benji in the
it
world.
for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, see how it goes, and then maybe. What do I mean kosher? Like I'll still go eat pizza in a restaurant, not kosher pizza. But I'm not gonna eat the treif. I'm not gonna eat.
But maybe you have
whatever.
to. I think you see it as is like, maybe you're not eating fully kosher. Maybe you're eating kosher 3 days a week, or maybe you're eating not the pepperoni pizza. You're eating cheese.
I don't eat pork.
You are still making the conscious choice to do something
For myself, that's what I'm trying to do.
for
right?
yourself, or is it for your relationship with Hashem?
With
You know what I
God,
mean?
I'm saying I don't
And
think
so-
Hashem must. Me personally, I don't think God is gonna judge me if I eat kosher or not. I don't
No,
think he
because there's
cares.
people who they could be fully kosher and then they'll go cheat on their wife. Like,
Forget that. They cheat on their wife. They go around and steal from people or do.
and that's my point too. Is like, I think you could be like, so you could daven 3 times a day, whatever religion is. You could pray 3 times a day. You could eat fully kosher. Go to church every Sunday or shul Saturday, and then you could literally murder, rape, steal. And I think Christian religion too, by the way, like they will tell you, well, you know, even if you do all those things, it's okay because, you know,
You're repenting.
God forgives, and
True, God does forgive.
But my point is, like, I think God is a smart, real being, and I think He sees what's in our heart. And then I think when it comes to all these stringent laws in Judaism of kosher, Shabbos, whatever it might be that you observe, I think they're all so bad. Like, I think it's all an opportunity to take what you can take on and use it to connect the way that you can connect. Because I think if you'll see, when as somebody who's not Jewish in like a non-Jewish world, the less you keep in your Judaism, the more you're no different than any other person out there who.
But why do you want to be
something
different?
You don't have to be different
You know,
necessarily.
special. These people are also different, and that's why I think, like, they're different. But
I think as somebody who did nothing, and then I see so much of everything that you guys do, and I live a lot of the similarities in your life, it does bring you closer to God. I think I would want to be different for that reason.
I think it makes you more disciplined too.
Makes you more disciplined. Okay, why different? I grew up Christian, where you're Christian, and you're Christian because you go to church every Sunday for a 40-minute service, and but you eat all the same things as everybody else who's not Christian. You can live the exact same life as somebody who's not Christian, except for that one detail and that you believe. And I used to say to myself, why is it that if I live the exact same life as a twin or my best friend, but at the end of the day, she doesn't believe in God or Jesus, and I do, that's done, and this is
Right.
not it. It's that for me didn't make sense, and it was, and so with the reason I think Judaism is really admirable, is because in Christianity, I think there's no tangible thing to like make you feel that connection necessarily. You could feel it in your heart, but
They don't eat meat on Fridays sometimes, right? You don't have, have
No.
those type of restrictions where you have
No.
to fast a certain amount of time.
no restrictions. No, maybe that's Catholic, but
Catholic,
like,
yeah.
no, that it's
So let me.
there's nothing. Yeah,
So
I think it's special. I really do.
a viewer had a question for you, and he's like,
Who?
somebody told me to ask you, do you think you're the double life you're living?
It's not a double life.
Whatever, you're saying kids to yeshiva
Yeah,
and they're
ask the
supposed to keep Shabbat and you're not keeping Shabbat at home. Does it confuse them or not?
No. They're old enough to make their own decisions. That if they don't want to keep Shabbat, I'm okay with it.
Right.
If they do, then I'll support any way they do. For
I think
example,
that's great.
I go to a
That's-
game with my son. He's strictly kosher.
Mm-hmm.
He won't eat.
Are you proud of your kids for that?
Very.
You should be
Because he
very
made
proud.
his own choice. I didn't tell him, eat this or you're
But
gonna
this just
die.
shows that the way you're looking at Judaism, right? You're looking at it a whole other way than what we
First of all,
were
you're looking
raised.
at,
I
first of all,
know.
it's by choice.
That's why
Second
I
of
love
all
that
is-
people hate on me all the time online of like, even with Sneas, I used to model the clothes for Sneas,
Right.
and I would dress Sneas when I had to pick the kids up from Torah Academy, and then I say, oh, it's hot today, I'm going to go change into whatever I want. People used to say, oh, well, you know, of course she thinks Sneas is so nice because she gets her clothes for free and she can wear whatever she wants. They weren't wrong. But I didn't, it wasn't until I had actually, I think, a change in like my also morals and character
Right.
of like,
So now you don't wear pants, nothing?
it's not that I like. Once again, I don't think if you decide you want to wear pants because you're cold,
You're not Sneas, right?
you're
But I
a horrible
think pants is
person.
more sneeze than a mini skirt.
By the way, yeah, this is also funny to me too. But like, I think once you're given that inspiration, that like fire of like, oh, I think it's very. I've always loved dresses and skirts too. Like happens to be so it gets I'm a bad representation of it, I suppose. But like, I think I feel better about myself. I used to think that, yeah, a lot of my validation about myself was about, well, the attention I got. I used to put my clothes on in the morning and think my body looks so good, my abs are looking good, my waist looks small, or like maybe my boobs look good in this shirt. And then it changed when I stopped caring about like, I didn't want a guy to look at me like that because I thought like I'm so much better than that. And then the thought that wasn't crossing my mind in the morning, I just looked in the mirror and thought like, do I look nice, pretty, like presentable? And that shouldn't be a thought of like any of that appeal. And I liked it. I was inspired by that. And then I started to find I got treated different. I used to hate when I'd go to a bar and every guy walks by, excuse me, and they put their hand on your waist. I hate that. And I used to always say, I hate that. Why do they feel they can do that? And
And they blame it on the alcohol.
they
So you
blame
think
it
it's
on,
because the way you dress, you're more engaging?
I think maybe they assume, not that it's right of them, but I just found that the more sneas, they literally they watch themselves more, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
They step more back away from you.
they're a little confused, they're a little
believe in
thrown
that.
off.
I believe in that too.
And
I believe in
for
that
me,
too.
I just started to be, so I worked in the nightclub industry, the bottle girl industry, and I used to get so mad. And these guys, oh, like, let me take you out of this life. I said, I'm making $3,000 tonight. I'm good. I'm good. And I'm taking your money too. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be taken out of this life. I'm doing this because I make a lot of money and it's easy money. Robbing these men blind, truthfully. And
It's so easy. How much attention these men want. They're willing to spend so much money just for you to look at them.
30,000 on a bottle of
Bro.
pap
Yeah.
champagne. They're doing it for a girl. They'll pay $500.
doing
Get it over
We
with.
get excited. They come with the light.
The same girl you want to pay the same $500 you want to pay for that girl. She's the one in the club charging you $30,000.
And by the way,
Making you spend $30,000
we all
to
have
get her.
boyfriends. Like all the bottle girls, they always have
Yeah, they
boyfriends.
didn't-
They're usually in the back crying about some boy, and then they're out there, and these boys are like, oh, let me get a number. I'm like, for sure, and I'm like texting my real, like it's a joke.
I never understood
understood
the
that.
popping bottle, spending $5-10 grand on a table,
But
man.
this is also why I quit.
I
think
never understood it.
Hey, Canut,
when you
it comes from emptiness.
when you
I don't know
ask
what it
also
is.
when you ask
Validation.
also like the questions of like why do you like Jews? Why do you like Jews? It's hard to just give a concrete answer because like your soul definitely changes. And I used to work bottle service and I used to love it because I'd say, look how much money I can make. And these guys are so stupid. And it was morally wrong because I first started that job and I would say, I would charge their card. I would print the receipt out so they couldn't see the tip was already included. They go, tip is included. Oh no, they tip me double. I say, oh no, do you want to just Zelle the tip? Then I make more money off of that too. And we'd all, my girls and we split it. Not moral of me. I'd also say, oh, I know they like Casamigos. I'd say, we only have one bottle of Casamigos left. This other table wants it. Do you want to pay more for it? I want to pay more. I want to pay more. I want to pay more. I would sell the bottle from, maybe it was $1,300 for that bottle. I would sell it more for like $1,500 or $1,700. It would be 8 bottles of Casamigos back there. Oh, we got more actually. You know, I would, that's not right of me. Not all girls are like that, but I started to see the opportunity with these guys, or girls too, by the way. Bachelorette parties were the best too, but like, you know, people, I would say, oh, I can make money, and I didn't respect them, and I was like a little angry at men at that point in my life, and so I was like, found it very enjoyable to see how much money I could get out of them, and slowly, between working so closely with the Jewish community and these religious people, I started to go to work and I started to feel bad. I started to say, these people are no different than a homeless man on the side of the street having drug addiction and alcohol addiction. They are just rich. It covers it up. And I started to feel bad that I would drain these people's cards. They get, okay, you have $800 on your tab. I would drain all their cards because they have the addiction of needing the validation for the clout, whatever it might be. And I just remember, like I said, I would work Fridays, and I remember one time the mom came home early for Shabbos, and I sat in the car, I cried because I had to leave, and I had to go to my job, which was night service. I went home. I was actually partying with my friends first, my boyfriend at the time, who was horrible, and then working at night, and then...
You never cared that you worked bottle service?
No, I had 2 boyfriends in this time, and they didn't care. Yeah, I'll tell you about it, but... Interesting, but
at the same time you had 2 boyfriends?
No.
Like, shit,
in this time in my life, girl. I'm always like,
it's fine if you had 2 dudes.
Yeah, but no, but basically, I remember looking around the room in the club, and I just was thinking, like, my nanny families right now are having a nice wholesome meal, no phones, and spending time together, and like these people are so blacked out of their minds, doing drugs, and I just was like, they're so empty and lost, and I just thought, like, with everything since October 7th, I just thought, like, I would rather be like them than like this. Right. And I slowly started changing. And I remember I prayed. I said, God, like, I don't have that much money, but my rent's only $700 a month at the time. Please make it so that I can just nanny for these kids. And that's how I make my money. And then
I messaged you on Instagram.
And then my Instagram, literally, I really mean it. Like, weeks later, like, my Instagram popped off. I ended up quitting bottle service shortly, I'd say, after, and I had unlimited nanny clients.
You don't miss that life at all?
No.
Wow.
Thank God now I make my own money. If I want to go, if I go party, I could go party if I wanted to go party. But it's definitely hard. You know what happens? It's spring break in Florida almost. You know, I saw the bar I used to work at so packed, and I said, I know how much money they're making, like, but I can make equally as much money doing other things, you know, and it's more fulfilling.
The way I looked at money making is that it's either you believe in God with it or you don't, right?
Yeah, I do.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you, by the way, wait, not to interrupt, but my question to relate it is, as somebody who's religious, I thought, is it wrong of me to like facilitate, and like, I see all these people doing drugs, and that was one moment that really made me stop. Was I saw this drug and it's Tusi? It's pink.
Tusi, yeah.
Looks like pink cocaine.
Tusi, yeah.
I didn't even know what it was, and I was like, it was like, I want to tell you a mound of this, because it was bad, and I saw people high. It was, and I was like, I can't do this. This is not me. And I also felt like I'm facilitating this behavior essentially. Like is that moral of me? There's also like in Judaism, like it's David Grutman, right? Like the guy who owns all these clubs. Is he considered, I have a question, it's a question.
Yes.
Is he considered halachically like a bad moral Jew for opening all these businesses that are not,
what are you talking about?
That are not kosher?
Somebody else.
According to the Shulchan Aruch, the rabbis, yes.
But his businesses don't necessarily cater towards Jews. They're catered towards non-Jews.
Exactly.
So what if he's a fully observant Jew?
So I'll give you an example.
It's a gray area.
Okay, so it's a very gray area. So I'll give you an example,
but the rabbis will clear it up real quick. It's a gray area.
10% donation.
They'll sit around the table. We found a gray area, everybody.
They run to him for donation.
You know how it is. For the right price, everything is kosher, right? But no, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
RV.
No, I'm kidding. First of all, I love the ORB, by the way.
Okay. love
So
their
RB like the
TikTok
VOD.
Yeah,
It's like the-
first of all, okay, you know what they do?
This guy goes on TikTok, and I tell you, I won't listen to anything. I hear this guy's, is salmon kosher if you touch it to a meat fork that was cooked 48 hours? I'm like, tell me more, guy. I'm so interested.
I'm not into those restrictions.
So the ORB, but what the ORB does different than all the other rabbinical hashgachas is that they teach you why it's important to do that. They don't say, "Oh, you're going to take away your certificate." They don't threaten you. So they're teaching you the process, which is great. And that's why I decided to make this podcast is to teach that the way you were fed Judaism. Look at it from the other side. Here's a non-Jewish woman, a goya, right? That we
Goyim,
say,
the
goy, right?
we say
That
in
if you marry her today, your kids are non-Jewish, right?
Yeah.
And she's probably more religious or knows more about religion than a lot of
spiritual,
right, spiritual, whatever you want to say,
connected.
right? And her perspective is saying what? That I learned out of this, right, from love and watching how you guys
Seeing the
take your
differences
day to day, right?
and loving the differences. I think, yeah.
But the most interesting part is that it intrigued you instead of making you run away.
I think that's where it comes in of like your soul either is like meant for it or not. You know what I mean? Like, because I have roommates who I lived with them the time, and I would come home and some of them go also as interested, and the others not ask a follow-up question. It depends on the person for sure.
That's a different connection.
But that's what's hard. It's like it's like me saying I don't know if Judaism's for everybody. It's clearly not, but you didn't have the choice.
Right.
Like,
That's why now I feel like I have the choice and I'm deciding what I want to do and what not. I don't believe that because I'm not doing what everybody else does, I'm going to get punished or severely or makes me different than everybody else. That's what I'm trying. That's my point of view is that I respect what you do and what you, because you chose. I respect the Hasidic guy who has a beard, and if he makes him happy, do it. I believe that if I don't want to do it, I shouldn't have to be forced to do it. I don't think God is not going to love me or appreciate me or be there for me.
I guess the answer maybe is the fact that it does say, whether it be the Christian Bible or the Torah, that the Jews are God's chosen people, and with that comes a responsibility
Of what?
of these
behaving,
of these
not
things.
keeping kosher restrictions.
So
and
I
not
feel like
getting
if you
in the
choose
car.
to look at it maybe as like a beautiful thing of like, yeah, like I'm doing this because I'm Jewish, but it's exactly like I'm not sitting here saying that like he's wrong for that. I'm not, but I think it's like a journey. That's a very Chabad mindset, though, of like, oh yeah, it's a journey of always doing better and growing.
But you see, when
Like,
we were
I
in
don't
yeshiva, Chabad was considered no way.
Yeah.
No, taboo. You can't even. Chabad was
Chabad
no
is
way.
the right way. I think Chabad is all love.
I
all
think, yeah.
bringing people closer.
You know,
they
they
don't
were-
judge you.
They were my last sect of Judaism, I feel like. Well, I mean, there's a million different types, but like I grew up, my Jewish upbringing, I always say, in the Orthodox, like not black and white, but like the yeshivish Orthodox of Boca. And I was like, wow. And then I went on a Pesach program and I saw Israelis, I saw people from Five Towns, I saw people from Muncie, from Teaneck, from Lakewood. I saw every type of Jew. And I was like, what the heck? Like I would literally see these people, oh, we're eating dairy out, or oh, we're keeping Shabbos, but we like don't use our phones, but we're swimming. And I was like, what the? I was so like, this is what? That's not, you're not supposed to do that on Shabbos. And they were like, you know, I only because I knew the strictest, I think. And then shortly after, I then started becoming friends with more like Chabad people. And that's when the spirituality of Judaism really like spoke to me, I think. So like I saw all the laws and the lifestyles and the lingos and the dress, the modern Orthodox, the Orthodox, whatever you want to call it. And then I saw like the spiritual side from Chabad. And then that's, I think, why I think I see it from a beautiful perspective between the kids and that. Versus, I don't know what the answer is of like you growing up being told like you have to keep Shabbos, you're going to hell. Like same as Christians.
We were 16 years old and we were causing trouble. And my
What's trouble?
What to my parents was trouble. My brother, there was a big rabbi came here. His name was Amnon Yitzchak. I remember he was in Queens College, and my brother asked him a question. He's like, "You telling non-religious people to become religious, and for them it's a new thing. They get excited.
Yeah.
You tell us where we were raised.
People hate that about me.
We were raised religious. We were raised Orthodox. Now we're leaving. Why should we stay?" He didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
He said, "Whatever you do, to whatever you do, anything you do, what did he say? It's between you and God or something."
Yeah.
That was like.
Look, I mean, when you saw all those different sectors, right? So you're coming from a very naive place. You're saying, "Oh wow, there's so many different types of Judaism. It's so nice." We were right. So that's the conflict between the different sectors and stuff like that. Because the most religious sector, they think they're cream of the crop, and everybody else is garbage.
Yeah.
Right. And then you see.
And then meanwhile, there's sometimes the most garbage people.
Yeah, and then you see the cream of the crop not at home, and you're like, why are you acting like the regular folk, right? Right? So that's where me and him, like, I live in a very, I don't know if you quote unquote Orthodox community in the Five Towns, right?
You live in Five Towns?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I live in a very, very prominent from community, and I'm a bit of an outsider because the way I look and stuff like that, which is I really don't care, right? But then I go away and I'm like, wait, everybody wants to be, when they're not home, everybody wants to be the way I am. So then, and that was a big conflict for me. And then I'm like, I'm stopping to live the life for them. I'm just like what you did. I'm looking for the beautiful thing about Judaism. That's it. And what does God want from us?
Yeah, people also caring what people think. Like people all the time. Like
It's a big problem in our
hate
community.
Online
though.
also.
It's
just
a big problem.
Why is she? I went to an event last night, and everyone's saying, "Oh, he's like, oh, why are you the most sneeze dressed one here, and you're not even Jewish?" And it's like, I used to then sometimes go to events and go, I look too sneeze. Like, why I look?
Am I trying too hard? You
think? I would wear what I thought was cute, and then I would think, oh, there's people there that are not going to be so religious, and then they're going to question why I look like this way. And finally, I just said, like, you know what? Like, I want to dress this way. If someone wants to come ask me all these crazy questions, they're complete strangers. I don't owe them an answer of like why I want to be. If it doesn't make sense to you, I don't really care. I want to be.
You don't owe the answer, but the religious guy growing up that decides to change his ways a little, he thinks like, oh my God, I owe everybody else the answer.
Yeah, I think though, but if you're not keeping whatever you might not keeping, or you are less religious, I think the fact that you're still thinking about it shows that you clearly have a little bit of an internal struggle and want.
Thinking about it because we're brainwashed as children that once we...
Right, but that's the fine line. That's exactly what I was trying to... Is it brainwashed or is it a struggle?
Mm-hmm. I think...
Right, that's the whole thing.
I think if you have in your heart to think about, I want to eat kosher 3 days a week, and like, I'm trying, but I don't want to because it tastes better, and you're having that struggle, that's like Chabad will teach you. It's a good thing to have that struggle because it means you care. And so then I think that's when you should maybe come to the point to seek and say, I didn't grow up with I grew up with all these laws and religious trauma, as they say, and I want to learn it from my own beautiful perspective, whether it be, like I said, through books, through shears is what they're called, right? Like whatever, want to listen to a good rabbis or current rabbi speaking to him. And then I think you'll eventually maybe come to that place. Like, I think if you're struggling right now, you're still like wavering, you're struggling, but maybe then you'll come to that place where maybe that's your final destination of, I don't eat kosher. I only eat kosher on Shabbos. I only drink kosher wine or something like that. And then you'll feel at peace with that lifestyle and decision.
Yeah, I think it's all a journey of...
So let me ask you something. You're going to like this. When you weren't babysitting for Jewish kids, right?
Yeah.
For you, Shabbat was just like, another day, right?
Didn't even know what it was, yeah.
Right. Now it's like, oh my God, such a holy day. So,
special.
Whatever, right? So is that brainwash? Or is that something that you came to yourself? So for you, you're saying, hey, I figured it out. This is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
For people like us growing up, they're saying, wait, this is brainwashed because the whole world is traveling, right? 99.9% of the world is at the airports. The places are packed most where.
On Saturdays, places are closed on Sunday. So then
Friday night is a big night in the
and by the way,
hospitality industry.
You'll love this story. When I was a bottle girl and I started to really learn about like my nanny families, a Jew comes in like Friday night to buy a table, and I was like, he says, am I being Jewish? He actually had his hat on, and he said to me, Jewish. And then I said, you're Jewish. And he lifts up his has a kippah. I was like, but it's Shabbos. And he was like, looked like he saw a ghost. He was like,
but do you understand?
How do you know about Shabbos? I'm like, you're not supposed to be here. But he was like, right, I shouldn't. But like, yeah, what makes him not? I think if you sit around asking these questions, like there's no real answer for sure. But that's why I think you have to find the inspiration for you to keep what you want to keep and connect with.
That's why I say there's not only one way or the highway. That's what I'm trying to explain to people.
Christianity, Judaism too. But I feel bad. I shouldn't say that because I'm not a rabbi. I'm not a
but again, you have to understand.
That's
with Christianity. That's why I also I finally
There's
was
not
like, I
one way.
can't.
That's what I'm trying to teach,
Yeah.
trying to explain to the people is there's not only their way or no other way. There's a million ways to find a connection with God. The whole point of religion is to connect with God, not for
Yeah.
people to be saying, "Wow, he's religious, so
Exactly.
he's a good guy."
Exactly. I'll give you an example, right? So, as I say, he's the closest person to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know what he does on the DL that nobody else knows, right? Talking about giving good deeds, helping people that need help,
Yeah.
right? But because of the way he looks and the way he's dressed and the way he represents himself, so he's taboo
Yeah.
in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that drives everybody crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what about all the good deeds stuff? Yo, give to them. You don't dress the part, you're out.
Well, I'll tell you a
He's not
story. We
wrong.
went away for Shabbos Hanukkah, our families. My brother-in-law rents a hotel for all of us. God bless him. He pays out of the good of his heart. Doesn't even ask for money. We go. Friday night, one old Hasidic lady asked me, "Where you from?"
Uh-huh.
I'll take it.
I said, "I'm from whatever."
He made like a stupid joke.
I made a joke. I said, "I'm from whatever the hell I'm place." She's like, "You look like you don't belong here. That's you are from there because you don't belong here the way you look."
And he's dressed in his suit at
I'm
Shabbos.
wearing a suit. Just I had this chain on. I had my bracelets and the watch, and I was
Yeah.
like, whatever, modern looking nice. And I had my bun. And I had the chain like this.
What do you mean?
big-
Even your yarmulke was on. You didn't have a bun.
I had a
nothing.
yarmulke. Nobody saw my ponytail. I had a yarmulke under
Yeah.
because I don't.
Yeah.
I go to a place like that with my father. I try to respect the place.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that took me like what do you mean I don't belong here?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't belong here. You don't look like us.
Yeah.
Then that's when for an hour, my brain turned and I tried to explain to her in a nice way that me and her are not different.
Yeah.
Mommy, she was wearing her fake jewelry, her fake watch with the diamonds, and she was like, "But this is a woman thing." Because
Oh, because the cross-dressing, yeah. By the way, with the sneeze too, like the whole, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I'd love to hear the direct answer, but the reason they say, skirts and dresses is because, and no pants is because you shouldn't cross-dress necessarily, but then the skirt can be, I sent a joke to my friend one time, a girl with high neck sweater like this, the skirt's so short, I was like, me, when I'm like, I'm sneeze today, and it's like, because the skirt, you're wearing a skirt,
You'd
you're wearing
rather wear
this.
pants
But-
than wear a skirt that when you sit down, I see your underwear.
So
there's a
Such a
very
good point.
big joke of a concept.
right or
of
wrong?
this.
100%.
These women wear
100%.
skirts.
So technically,
But
it
at least
could
they're wearing
be
a skirt, but
Yeah,
just
at
like
least-
this, she sits down, I see underwear.
That
Then
has
And
been-
they wear snoods,
yeah.
They're dressing in tennis skirts. My 15-year-old daughter, now
You have daughters, so maybe they.
yes, I'm seeing a
they
daughter also,
struggle,
and I
yeah.
tell her, listen, tennis skirts, no. I mean, not because of, oh my God. I say, look, you ever saw the CEO of Microsoft, whatever, or any big company wearing a tennis skirt? No. Then who are you trying to attract?
Yeah, that's what changed for me too. With
So I'm not telling you.
I'm not trying to look ugly.
We don't talk about religion. It's nothing to do with religion. It's you're not allowed.
Yeah.
Nah. Who are you
Class.
trying to attract?
Yeah.
You're a class. Go wear pants. You're not going to wear that. Who are you
Yeah.
trying to attract? And in our community, it's like, oh, you're not allowed because it's this, it's that. It's that. No.
Yeah. So you think that they'd be okay if her skirt was short, but she wasn't wearing pants?
Correct.
Yeah. I know. I hear this a lot. There's like memes of it. It's like beige Yaakov girls.
Right.
The super
You see?
short skirt.
You're already swimming in the water.
Just because a girl dresses, let's say she wears pants. I know myself, he knows himself. We know women who wear pants and dress a little bit modern, but they're more religious
Mm-hmm.
and they don't cover their hair. But the more religious is a woman who covers her hair and goes to the mikveh
Mm-hmm.
and keeps kosher. But when she's outside, she acts,
Yeah.
goes to Miami and everything comes off. She goes here, it comes off. You see her in there. And these are women who have families, kids, whatever, and they're kosher. They're this, but
I know. Yeah, it's very true. So this is interesting. You said there's this someone told me when I first was introduced to Judaism, I thought a little bit like, are you oppressed the way you're dressing? Do you cover your hair like Muslim type thing? You cover your
Right.
hair for your husband? And they were like, no, like truthfully, like a lot of my nanny moms are like, my husband would love if I wasn't sneeze. Like I'm sneeze for me, and I cover my hair because I like
Correct.
to.
correct.
And it's very true. They say I do it for me, and I was like, that's so interesting.
'Cause they're
Like that they
modern.
do.
The Hasidic community, they shave your head.
Can
Can you imagine now you're discovering
Yeah.
Judaism. Can you imagine you're getting married tomorrow?
people have
And then
hated
now
on
your
me
mother-in-law
saying,
comes.
like,
Your
yeah,
mother-in-law comes to you, not your mom. Your mother-in-law, who you can't stand regardless, because
mother-in-law.
she shaves your head.
I
What do you
know.
think about that? That's.
I think that's like people have said to me
Extremism.
before, like that. What's that show? It's called like
Am I orthodox?
on or whatever it's called. Like she can say everything she wants because she doesn't live it. I do think there's definitely like oppressive things. Like it's so like taboo to be like, oh, I wish everyone had a choice, and but then you can't be a shopping cart Jew, as they say, or you go and pick, I want to be kosher this day, that day. You could if you want. I think, but
you could tomorrow. You have tomorrow. God understands.
I had the decision tonight. If I was like, I want to go to a nightclub and have shrimp cocktail, I could go, and you could also go, but you would be like, everyone's judging me. I'm a Jew. I'm not supposed to be here. It's Shabbos. So, well, I'm trying to understand. I'm glad if you got to that point for sure, but like
I still feel guilty because
it was ingrained in you. It was ingrained in you for sure. It's kind of like I said, growing up Christian too. You were taught very similar things, but
you're taught that God understands.
What I think is interesting about Christianity, and not every Christian's the same, but what I felt, and the reason I was very spiritual, always had a connection with God. Always was like, I know God, I have this connection relationship with you. But basically, you're taught in a 40-minute sermon, God, the second you take your first breath, you're a dirty, rotten sinner going to hell because your natural inclination is you're going to sin. Because just like in Judaism, dressing immodestly, having sex before marriage, drinking too much, eating too much, partying, enjoying listening to unclean secular music, all of that is a sin. But don't worry, because it's okay, because Jesus died for you, and so you're going to go to heaven as long as you believe that, because you'll forgive. But then they say in the same message, but if you really loved God and if you really loved Jesus, you would not want to listen to Rihanna, Pitbull. You would not want to party. You would not want to have sex, because you would have all of this spirituality and connection if you were a real Christian. And if you do those things, you're going to get to heaven, and God's going to say to you, you are lukewarm, and you never really were a real Christian. I always felt myself very lost and confused, very like, I know I have a relationship with God, and I know I'm a good person. I try to be, but I like to drink. I like to party. I dress this way. What do I do? But I guess it's okay, because that's what they say. I'm just praying I'm good enough. That's where I was in my religious journey. And I think the reason I gravitated and like Judaism, and I think it's special and unique, is because same concepts of morality, the Ten Commandments, all same, but they give you those opportunities, like those tangible ways to feel connected. And I do think, I wish I could say, oh, it's a choice. I know it's not a choice. It's not a choice in the religion technically, but like somebody taught me one time, back to the oppressiveness thing. In the Siddur, it says, the men will say, thank you God for not making me a woman.
Right.
I said, that's so messed up. What? And then they said, well, actually, like the belief behind it is, thank you, God, not for making me a woman. Thank you for making me a man, because as a man, I have even more specific duties that you gave me of like my obligations to fill that were meant for me, and even more of a way to connect. Men are supposed to pray certain times and 3 times a day. Women, a little bit less, but they have different opportunities because it's, I think they were saying it's beautiful that
women are closer to God than men.
They say that.
Right. They say, thank you, God, for making me the way you want me. The way you, Shasan Kirsana means you made me your way.
Yeah.
We say thank you God for not making us a woman, because we have to, as men, to become like the woman.
Yeah, because
so you guys have less.
But you also have more opportunities, they say. Because you have more obligations to fill, you have more opportunities
for being a loser.
To
that's what it is.
to worship Hashem is what they say. I thought that was quite beautiful. But yeah, I have heard this. I think it's interesting. Of like, I think it's mitzvah for obviously anyone to get married, but they were saying like a man is not complete until he like finds the woman fully, like because the woman is technically more like closer to God and more. I'm like, it's not wrong.
That's why us as men were judgmental. As well, right? We see a woman dress a certain way, we think she's easy to get or easy to approach, and then we see a woman dressed like you, and they'll stay away because, like, I
don't even want to believe it, but you're right. I know it's right. I used to think, just because and it's true. I used to be a bartender, a bottle girl.
But the way they dress makes it more approachable.
I thought you're actually really nice. I thought you would be, BITCH. I thought you would be mean. You're actually super nice. You're super genuine. Oh, you actually are more of a prude. I'm like, yeah, just because I look this way, I don't get it. You make assumptions, but it's true. People do make assumptions. Just like you see somebody pious, keep like really religious, and then they're going to go to Burger King. You're like, what? People make really
It's assumptions, correct?
people make assumptions, so it's true. It's not right, but it's true. And so with SNEAS, for me, I personally enjoyed now, and like, who knows, maybe 10 years down the road, I could be different. I don't know. But like, I enjoy not having that assumption made about me, because I got, so, especially in the Jewish community, it pushed me. I was so sick of it. The fact that in the Jewish community specifically, I was a non-Jew. So I think that automatically they think, oh, the non-Jews, they are dressed. Like, by the way, I happen to be a very moral non-Jew.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, look at her grandchildren.
And so I was like, just because I'm a non-Jew doesn't mean that like we have absolutely no standards of anything, you know?
It's assumption.
And they'll assume if finding my modesty place, we're like, yeah, sometimes I'll wear this, sometimes I wear short sleeves, sometimes I'll wear a skirt that's maybe too short. I don't know.
You don't wear pants anymore or whatever?
I would wear it to like walk my dog or something. I don't know.
Okay,
but
fine.
like personally, I enjoy.
If you go to the beach, you won't wear bathing suit?
I have bathing suits, yeah. They're a
I'm
little bit
saying you-
more, but like they're way more modest now. Yeah. Like the bathing suits I used to wear, I'm like, why? Like, but that's what everyone wears in Miami too.
Yeah, I'm saying.
So
well,
bad, yeah.
But
So
it is what it is. What are you gonna do? You're going to week. I don't know why. I don't know why you think it's a problem. I'm saying.
I think, oh yeah, with the bathing
So you
suits.
guys should debate this.
With the bathing suits, for me, it's like, I just always wonder, like, I have them still in my dresser. I just never wear them because it's like they're nothing, and that's what. Like, why are all of us wearing like just intentionally like the like least amount of clothing possible?
But you trying to
When
get a suntan?
you can still no, but
That's
like
Romani?
you can get a suntan, but
You
like
think
not
every
the
girl
way
I
that
see-
like
you think every girl I see in the
Girls in
freaking
Miami.
beach is wearing business. So I'm gonna approach her because she's approachable.
Not
No.
you, but 95% of men will. Because they're animals.
Okay, so a woman has
Yes.
to self-control. Say, listen, I'm
But
go
yes,
away.
because the men, much said, not me or you, because we were raised the way dad raised us and whatever it is, and
Yeah,
we're
we
very
already-
feminine.
You know, I never in my life, or I don't think he can. Maybe he also. I never in my life saw a girl and I hit on her because we were raised that way.
yeah.
You don't approach her. It's not.
What's so then they're supposed to
Respectful.
approach you?
No,
but then
just-
as soon as you're taught like they don't approach you, the girls.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's how we were raised at
Shut up.
home.
Wait,
right?
were you guys set up?
Yeah.
You guys were set. You guys had a
No,
shut up.
this one, no, but the one before
But
that.
I'm saying we never approached in our life. I'm telling you, even if I see somebody at the bar, I would never in my life go up to, hey,
What do you mean?
Like, you know, I don't. My
That's
dad
no-
always told us that that's not respect for a woman. You don't go over to her. Maybe she has a man. Maybe she's not interested in you. You know, so that's something good that religion
You
taught
asked
us.
my boyfriends in the past if they were okay with me being a bottle girl, and exactly they never questioned it. They never cared. They were like, "Wow, good for you. You're making more money than I make," you know. But like, I also feel so frustrated sometimes as a woman where like
Why don't you protect me? Why
if
don't you
I'm
be-
no,
Yeah, yeah.
no, just with men coming up to you, like I could be dressed like this, by the way, and they could still come up and hit on me.
Yeah, those are sick men.
And also I could be dressed completely not, and they come up and hit on you. And I always used to get so frustrated of like, I'm not even doing anything, and they're gonna come up to you. And then I had this boyfriend who would get mad, the one who was like abusive, he would get mad. But it wasn't even my fault in my opinion. Maybe it was the way I dressed. I don't know. But like they will always still come up to you. If you're a pretty girl, if you're bubbly, if you're like look approachable, like they will come up to you, and it's not like your fault. Like it's hard. It's as a girl, it sucks. Yeah, it definitely sucks. Like
So I don't necessarily think that the way you dress. I mean, I hear where they're coming from. I think maybe
I feel like if I wore this to a club, no one would come up to me because they'd be like, "Why is she dressed like this?" It's a
would
nightclub.
you think going to like a club is wrong right now? Honestly, like what do you think?
It depends on the type of club. But for example, the reason I don't like to party in Miami ever is because if you want to go out in Miami, you need to have on high heels. You
Right.
need to be dressed sexy,
Yeah, 'cause
slutty.
they use you
need
as
to have
objects
Full,
to
you need to
attract-
have full makeup. You need to then know a promoter. You need to then tell the promoter, hey, and then you need to walk in with the promoter. You need to go to this table for the guys because don't even bother paying $28 for a vodka soda. It's pointless anyways. Like you. And so my point is,
$28 for a vodka soda.
They give you like this vodka
Yeah.
or soda and they charge
but,
$20.
but like my point is like,
Are you popping
That's why-
bottles, bro?
that's why I don't like to go out in Miami because I would rather go to a bar or a club to go see like a DJ I like,
Right.
dressed like this, pay my ticket in general admission and have no one bother me. If I want to show up in sneakers and leggings, if I want to show up like this with no makeup, I can. And I'm there to enjoy myself, not to have to like
right.
do those a little
Right.
bit immoral things. So I think if you go to a club because you want to hear like the music, as long as you're associating with like your group of people, your friends, maybe you're not there to like meet the love of your life. I don't know. That's
Right.
when I think, when you start to think, oh, I used to find I'm going to a club. Oh, I gotta dress more. I have to look older. I have to dress.
Unfortunately, tell you
like-
women look forward to that. Like
Huh?
they enjoy the attention. They enjoy the.
I used to love to get an outfit and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait
Not
to get ready to
women, girls.
look
I said
hot."
women.
Real women don't dress like that. Girls dress like that.
I
Women
remember
don't.
in college is when I think I really, because my parents were strict with the way I dressed. Also, nothing about skirts or anything because that's not really a thing
Right.
in Nanju. But don't wear short. You have to wear the midi shorts, or you can't
Right, the
wear.
booty shorts are no-nos.
Oh no, I couldn't wear the short shorts. I would pack shorts in school to roll up my shorts and change, and then I got to college, could really do whatever I wanted. And I was like looked young for my age and was like not 21. So what do? I would say, okay, like I need to look older. What does that mean? I have to look sexy. I wear push-up bra. I wear like a sexier outfit. I wear more makeup. And then I would say, even if they don't believe I'm not 21, well, I look hot, so they're gonna let me in anyways. And like that's where it really started becoming of like I need to look this way because I need to get into these bars. I need to get this job. I never not got a bottle girl or bartender job in my life. You walk in, you look beautiful, whatever, you're hired. They don't care what you do.
Right.
You could be the crappiest bartender ever. They don't care. It's who you bring in. And so that's when I started getting into that industry of like, oh, like I need to look a certain way. And it was immoral because I was seeking, I don't even know how to explain it, like a validation of
We
something.
all are seeking validation. Some people are seeking it from people. Some people are seeking it from God. Some people
Yeah.
are seeking it from community. We're all here in this world to seek validation.
And I used to look like these girls, but then they all say, Adriana, watch the bar while we go do cocaine. Adriana,
Right.
like, give their number out, and I would not really text them. I had a boyfriend, like, that, or I would text them just to lead them on because I thought it was like, that was another thing I was really big on. It was wrong of me. I would always like let them lead them on just because I was like, yeah, such a clown, da-da-da. Like, oh, and then just like, oh, but I didn't do anything. I didn't cheat on you. I didn't do anything. But it was like wrong still. Like, why do you
Right.
even care? Why do you even care to respond? Because you want them to like, yeah. So I've gotten so much better at that now, especially with my social media. Because I used to always be so nice. Like, oh, they're being nice. And like, no, these men are not being nice. Like,
Remember the conversation I had with you when we just met in Smash, and I said, be careful.
yeah.
Tread very carefully.
Yeah. Benji, that's another thing. Like, I always have trusted him because like I said, I've done business with a lot of people, Jewish business, and yeah, they will. Thank you so much for doing business. By the way, do
you
charge
available
for
for
other
di-
services?
yeah. Are
Is
you
this your
available for
personal
dinner?
number?
Yeah, we don't.
We don't act that.
I'm coming into
We're not.
Miami, this
Yeah,
and that,
we
and
don't
I'm
go
like,
out, yeah.
and then you get these things, and you're like, they're not really saying anything wrong. I'm
Correct.
coming into Miami. We should see each other. I'm like.
Is it
But
for
why?
work or is it for
So I
lunch?
remember
Right.
saying, like, why did you bring something? I need to see. Like, I'm confused. Like, I don't want to go to Miami. Oh, you know what I mean? Miami. I'm like, for what? Like, and yeah, so I definitely see. But like, Benji's always been super correct. I have like a couple people in my life where, Dr. Hirsch is another example too.
Right.
He's from Five Towns, and
I know him. I know him.
Similar thing of like, I mean, he's also very from like, but like
Right.
he also even sometimes says like people like say if I wear this or that, they think it's like too not so. But meanwhile, like you guys are some of the most. He has never hit on me. He's never made me feel
Never,
uncomfortable. Like never.
Never.
And but then because you have a jewelry that's so this is people will judge. So
Of course.
but that's on them, and I think they don't have the true.
But it's easy for you
Meaning-
to say that's on them.
Mhm.
That's the thing, you understand?
They judge
For
me too,
you,
by the
it's
way,
easy-
though.
Oh, for sure, because
I get
now they feel like
so-
you're Jewish, so now they can smack you around. 100%.
Someone commented
As you
she's
started
so
dress-
desperate to be Jewish in my comment
Do you remember the
section.
beginning? Remember the beginning? Oh, wow, you're so cute. You're so cute. Yeah, talk about Judaism. And now you see a lot more. Oh, what are you doing? You know,
Oh, yeah, I don't really get it. What's the point of this account? I'm
'Cause
like,
now
it's, it's none of your business. Like, what I'm
because
doing.
now you're part of us.
It's also
And
very not
you're-
fair when they're like,
So
I hate
now
when
the
they put
Jews can be like, oh, hey,
emphasis-
we can judge you too, right?
they put emphasis on you're a
Now the
non-Jew.
Jew-
Like,
Yeah,
kinda.
yeah.
There was an event. They were
Now
like,
the true colors come out. Welcome.
yeah,
you
yeah,
marry
no.
a man and you go out with a man for 5 years. He's so nice. Second, you put on the ring. All right.
yeah.
Starts
No,
pulling
but
out his
also
belt.
another thing I think is you mentioned how Judaism goes through the mother, and I didn't know it was kind of related through that.
If you want to become a convert, they reject you. They have to reject you three
Three
times tell you don't do it, and the more you want it,
And then you have to also tell you how bad Judaism is, and it's not for you.
and it's horrible. It's not easy. It's I'm saying no offense. It's restrictions upon restrictions upon restrictions.
horrible.
Upon
It's
restrictions.
death. Sometimes
It's death.
It's very
Like,
hard.
Sometimes
Oh,
I ask
fasting,
myself,
Yom
why was I
Kippur.
born this way? Why can't I be like? I want to be like everybody else. I don't
You
want
want
to
to be like everybody else. I
Correct.
think growing up though, like everybody else, and then seeing how different and special that Judaism is, the community, the bad and the good. I think
It's perspective.
good
It's scary how
outweighs-
crazy his perspective it is.
the good.
Everybody
the good
has
outweighs.
their like. Also, Muslims have their way, which is beautiful.
And that's
their
another thing
way,
about
and the
religion
Christians
too.
have
By the way,
theirs.
it's like I question. Like I don't know anything about Islam. Like I don't know anything about Buddhism. And what if?
So why don't
like,
you want to study
for example,
everything
according
and then choose?
to maybe Christians, like it's one way, or Jews at least believe, hey, you're a Jew, so you got to be like this, but everyone else can just be a good person. They're
Right.
okay. Like at least they believe that. Christians, on the other hand, believe like, no. I don't care what you are. I don't care if you donate $10 million a year to Hatzalah. You are literally going to hell if you do not believe this. So then I always would say, like, what about these people who look what's happening in the Middle East right now? Like they are horrible people, like violent people, but like they're willing to kill themselves for their religion.
Right.
But they're wrong. They're confused. They're wrong. Yeah, it's interesting to me. I've never sat down and
That's
studied
the
it.
power of brainwash.
It's crazy to me though that it's like
But that surely that's the power.
I'm
of
also
brainwash.
biased. She loves Judaism so much. Yeah, sure. Maybe I would love Hinduism too if I met a community of Buddhists, a monks. Maybe I'd become a monk. I don't know.
Well, you don't want to go explore other religions before.
I never thought I'd ever be in this situation. No, I was always very like, yeah, I'm Christian and have a relationship with God. And then I started meeting the Jewish people, and then started being like.
So I went to
think
study.
more,
I didn't
think-
study. I read about or heard about the way the Arabs. It's not Arabs. It's wrong. The Muslims, because Arabs can
Yeah.
be Christians and Arabs can be Jews
Yeah.
too. Right? There's Arab Jews,
Yeah.
Arab Christians, and Arab Muslims. That's people don't understand. So Islam and Judaism is more or less the same.
And Christian too, by the way, I'll tell you right now, it's
You guys are
Jews
more,
don't realize-
you guys modernized the New Testament.
but Jews don't realize how similar it really is. And then there's like obviously like the main
No,
key
you can wear
difference.
pants. We can't. You can
But
eat
even the
anywhere you want.
verbiage,
We
even
can't.
the verbiage and things, it'll say in you guys will say like
You have to make
love the Lord
circumcision,
your
we
God
do.
with all
Yeah,
your
it's Ten
heart,
Commandments.
soul,
Yeah.
and then Christians will say the exact same words, but then they'll add like a little bit extra. Maybe same thing in it's
No, so
interesting to me.
Islam
It's
and
just
Judaism is
different.
very identical. The
Yeah.
difference is that
They just think Jews are bad, right?
no, not all of them. This is the extremists. It's like the
Yeah.
extreme Jews who think that everybody else is bad besides them. Those
Yeah.
are just
Yeah.
extremists. But they dress the same way like us, or we dress like the woman covered from head
Yeah.
to toe.
Yeah.
Men wear a certain outfit. They pray 5 times a day. We pray 3 times a day.
Interesting.
They fast Ramadan for 30 days. We do Yom Kippur for 1 day.
Yeah.
They eat halal. We eat kosher. So basically,
Yeah, I know. It's so
when you
interesting.
slaughter an animal and it comes out kosher, not glad, you sell it to halal. They can eat kosher.
Yeah,
So
but
an Arab,
not
a
glad.
Muslim, doesn't matter. A Muslim man who's in the street now and he keeps halal, so he can't eat in McDonald's, right? So he'll go to a kosher place and eat there. That's
Yeah.
allowed.
Yeah, but
understand?
you wouldn't eat there.
I would
no.
eat. I eat everything.
No, but a Jew,
A
right?
Jew is not allowed to
Jew-
eat halal because I mean a kosher, yeah, a glad, an extremist, whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't eat halal because it's not.
People are very strict on their like glot. They'll
Yeah.
eat other things where I'm like, why are you eating that? But if it's not glot, they're like.
Yeah. Again, it's something that
I always ask these questions. By the way, like I'm annoying. I always.
it's not annoying. You have to ask questions.
I ask because like I'm an outsider, so I'm always learning, and so then I ask these questions sometimes, and then people are like, they probably get annoyed because I'm pointing out sometimes flaws, but it's because I'm genuinely like,
Yeah, then they
wait,
get annoyed with the flaws, you know?
I'm like, wait, but like, why are you doing that? Because
So
you
you
can't do
would-
this on Shabbos, but you're doing that, and then they
Yeah.
are like, oh, actually, you're not supposed to, but.
We do it anyway.
We do it because technically it's not in the Shabbos spirit, but if
So
we do
there's a
it
lot
this
of-
way,
exactly.
it's
There's
like
a
so
lot of
interesting to
loopholes
me.
in-
Loopholes. Ashkenazi specifically, a lot
Which
of
you
loopholes.
can do, but they tell you not to do because you might. For example, we can't have a cheeseburger, right?
Yeah.
But you could. Back in the day, the rabbis used to eat chicken and milk.
Why?
In the time of the Gemara and the Torah, that's what they used. That was like a whatever. There was like a
Delicacy.
delicacy. Sorry, our English is really bad. We don't.
we're uneducated.
We're uneducated. in
High
English.
school dropouts.
Delicacy is called. That was delicacy. Like wow, they used to eat it. They stopped it because we might come to eat.
Oh yeah,
a
because
cheeseburger.
it's like you don't swim because you might be come to build a boat. Like
Yeah,
it's a very interesting concept. Or people, by the way, I've seen you get hate of like if the cheese
Right.
your burger looks too trafe.
Margarine, yeah.
And Mars, it looks bad. I'm like,
So I think this is
But
extremism.
that's the.
it's interesting.
But being Jewish doesn't mean you have to suffer or eat disgusting or look. Even being religious doesn't mean it has to be sufferable and no, and you can't do this and no.
yeah.
If I'm and my meat is the most kosher meat is in the market.
Yeah,
it's the
good.
base safe meat. Also, it's like
So my
everybody
problem
needs
is
to
not
eat
the
it.
kosher. My problem is the restrictions that don't do this. You might come to do this. So you can't ride a bike on Shabbos. You know why?
You might
come
fit.
to
You
fix
might.
the bike.
The
but I know
chain
how to
might
fix the
break.
bike.
Isn't also the gears though something wrong?
No, I know that you can't ride a horse, right? Because the horse might not. You might. So I always say, what if? My mom had a, what should be my dad? What if? But we're adults. We know what So my brother made us another good point about the holidays. With
Yeah.
the 2 days.
Okay, because you guys are also Sephardi.
Sephardi,
So you would eat like rice and everything.
Pesach,
But I'm
Okay,
saying
yeah.
2 days holidays, right?
The Chag.
You already know.
Oh yeah, that's why they keep that's why they have the
you
Yontif. Yeah.
You already know the time. You already know where the sun sets. Stop the 2 days.
No, but that's the Ashkenazi are very stringent on that type of stuff.
For no reason, though. But I'm saying, that's what I'm trying to
But that's
understand.
the complaint. And by the way, you were speaking so highly of Chabad, but then you said how like, yeah, but like when I was a kid, it was like Chabad. I was like,
Right.
and people all the time,
Chabad was taboo because of
they say,
of their beliefs.
oh, of course, so Chabad. They always give it such a pish posh type of thing, but like they're the most like amazing people. It depends on, but then I find that the people who judge that, they are very unhappy in their Judaism. But then the Chabadniks, they're very loving. They're on the street, they're having the time of their life. And I'm like, that's when I think you have to ask yourself of like, look at them.
And look at the other sector.
Being
Exactly.
so observant and so accepting and loving and happy about their Judaism.
And so with it.
And so like for, and then there's the other sides that
The
then
Litvish
judge,
side.
and
The
they're
Litvish
angry
side.
seeming.
Yes, the Ashkenaz
know?
Litvish is Ashkenaz.
every
Chassidish
side
yeah.
besides Chabad, even the Sephardi side.
Correct. But the Bukharians have a problem with by us Bukharians. We have and they're not even religious, and they have a huge problem. A lot of them, and they have a huge problem with judging and stuff like
They're
that.
all. They came to the other day. How dare you talk like this? We are kids. I said you don't act this way yourself. My brother we put a meme of my brother smoking a blunt or whatever it was. And one father came to me, I won't forget, he's like, yo, take it off, you're teaching my kids about weed. I said, first of all, they watch hip-hop? Yeah, they watch all these girls on hip-hop. That's that's
the
okay.
music is very bad. I
Yeah.
listen to my music sometimes. I'm like, this
Wait,
is bad.
I asked the father, you smoke weed? Yes. What are you doing?
Oh.
You're contradicting your child. What are you doing? You're telling your child not to do something you do.
Yeah. But you guys are Bukharian?
Yeah.
But you're not. Syrians are also an interesting sect because they won't even marry.
Yeah,
Bukharian, right?
Syrians won't marry converts at all. They won't even accept them.
They won't accept. They won't marry.
They try not to marry out of their cult. My brother married a Syrian girl, but they usually
that's not allowed though, right?
It's
Technically.
allowed. It's not accepted.
But they couldn't marry.
You're not like if you become Jewish, you're not allowed to marry. The Syrian will not let them be married. Correct.
Yeah, of course. But like, would they marry like your daughter?
Yeah, today, yeah. I mean, again, also
they're
the
more-
Ashkenazim and Sephardim usually don't get married.
No, because it makes sense. It's so different. Like to me, like it's not like a racist thing or anything, but like why would you? Oh, you did. Your second, you said is
My wife is Ashkenaz. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
It was-
different. Do you
it's-
keep your minhags with her, or kind of mix, or
I keep what makes sense to me and what God expects
so
from
then
us.
you eat rice on Pesach.
Yeah, we always eat rice on Pesach.
So she eats
Correct.
So then, but she probably didn't grow up that way.
My mother-in-law doesn't eat rice on Pesach, and none of my in-laws. But she will go Erev Pesach when I go to Israel to see them, and she will buy me all the like the pitas and stuff, and the hummus that we're allowed to eat, and the rice and stuff like that.
yeah.
That makes no sense to me. Why can we eat it and they can't?
It's a
Why
minhag.
is it? I don't really know.
It's a minhag. It's a minhag.
It's
And the
same thing with
minhag-
the hours.
retarded.
Waiting.
It's a minhag. It's a
Yeah.
minhag. Now the hours, what were the hours of waiting between
6 or
minimum?
3.
Okay, so no one really dove deep into that. I actually learned that.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I'm not going to talk about it here because people are going to go bananas.
Uh-huh.
But
yeah, there's
I'll
different-
talk to you about it off the air
Okay.
about the 3-6 hours.
Yeah.
There's a Shulchan Aruch that says even 1 hour is enough. Not even 1 hour, even benching is enough. But whatever, we'll get into that afterwards. Right. And then
yeah.
they took 3 hours from that Ramah. There's a Ramah, which he was the rabbi for the Ashkenazim. And then we had the Mechaber, which he was the rabbi for the Sephardim. And the Sephardim have to keep 6 hours, no questions asked.
Oh,
There's no
really?
and if after about the Ashkenazim is where it gets tricky and where they're from, right? So it's a pretty. Again, that's the beautiful thing about Judaism. When you break it down, it gets great. When someone tells you, no, you can't do that. No,
I
because
know.
God said so. You're like, what do you mean God said so? But
Yeah.
everybody else is doing it. But when you realize, hey, we don't cook meat and milk because health reasons. Of we see already like all these like Gary Breckers, all these big people talking about how meat and milk together is bad, and and even meat and fish, and you're like, oh, it's all about health reasons.
I think
If we change the perception about Judaism and religion, forget about religion. If we just about Judaism and how beautiful it is and how keeping Shabbat can be beautiful
It's
and putting on
special,
tefillin.
unique.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so back to the convert thing, I think when I was saying like, okay, you could grow up, pretend you grew up so from, you're raised, and then you find out you're not technically Jewish because your mother, your grandmother, something's not right, okay? But then, yeah, something's not right there, but whatever. You look right, but it's not technically correct, whatever. But like, I think the process of the conversion of like if you took somebody who's like a Baal Tshuva, and maybe they never kept holidays, but they're Jewish.
Right.
As hard as it must be for someone like that who is like, I'm Jewish, I think the conversion process would not be necessary. It's like a learning. You said earlier, being Jewish is not a religion, it's a way of life. And I think, exactly, your blood could be Jewish or you could believe in Jewish concepts, but like when I know all these things because of 4 years of being with the community, but like it's a way of life, a way of living, of acting. Even like I was talked to before, like with Ashkenazi, the Shabbos rules of like the 3 vessels and stuff. Like,
Right.
Can't open the bottle.
You have to be raised and trained to do that.
We were the Shabbos guy in yeshiva. 'Cause we had to open Coke bottles because they had the lettering.
You don't want to rip it, yeah.
Ashkenazim are not allowed. Sephardim are allowed.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
It gets very interesting.
But like, my point is like,
but you know why they say no?
it's kind of like the idea of like if you were to put people in a room and then figure out
Who's
who's
right?
Jewish and who's not, you wouldn't have to. You would know by those certain things. The way of living, way of doing things. Like if you said keep Shabbos to a bunch of these random people, and then you'd find out like there could be they say Arabs terrorists, they would go into like the Jewish community and then they'd try to pretend to be Jewish to fit in, to infiltrate, but they would always be picked up on because they didn't know these certain little nuances that are like different. I think it's just so interesting, but also like it sounds ridiculous that you're gonna literally take your hand off this crock pot and don't take the hand off and you're gonna serve it from this clay rishon, like all this stuff. And it's like ridiculous, but at the end of the day, it's like it's what makes you different, it's what makes you unique and special, and like
if I stand on my head, it'll also make me different. I mean,
but these guys are
if you sit on your head and you connect from God that way, and it makes you a better moral person, brings you peace in this world, then I say do it.
The issue with Orthodox Judaism is that people are very into like Kli Rishon, Kli Sheni, as you say, and all that stuff, right? You can't but then they're going to doing bad business deals, and ripping people off and like, doing a lot of things that are not, or acting to you the way they act to you, being inappropriate. So I think who am I to say? But I think that's the way the world, even the from Jews that don't want to talk about it, believe it, that don't do the Kli Rishon, Kli Sheni. Right? Don't worry about that, and worry about being a good person to other people and being a good human being, and don't be a creep, or don't be disgusting,
and then do that.
Yeah,
exactly. And then maybe you also take that on.
That's
I
the
agree.
whole point.
But and that's I think. So my point, I guess, of bringing that up is I think if you need to be taught that way, and I think it's beautiful because like you can't just like wake up one day and if you just do it like that, like then if you're just waking up like you said and like. This is wrong and this is good and doing this because of this and you don't have like the fire and like the passion behind it, I suppose, then like it means nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like I think about finding your morals and your spirituality first and then building on that. Whether we keep it kosher 3 days a week or
3 days a week for now.
You got a smiley face sticker.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday for now is when I do it. I
Right.
still don't. I mean, I'll still eat pizza and not. I won't eat like treif. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I won't eat treif. I won't go to McDonald's drive-thru on Saturday night instead of going to Smash. Smash is $20.
But
McDonald's.
now he opened Lakewood. Like, did you see? Sorry, I probably have to go. But like, you see like in Lakewood, the Miyamad, the lady, she has a sneeze store. Yeah, but she has colors and all different lengths of skirts and short sleeves and long sleeves. And the people in Lakewood went ballistic, and they were threatening her and saying, "How dare you be putting this out there?"
You're pro that? That's but I mean, they're different.
And then they leave Lakewood and they're
Makes them
different.
different.
Moshe,
Yeah,
Moshe,
they
and then
leave
they leave
Lakewood,
Lakewood and then yeah.
But
Atlantic
and then
City.
I saw it as of like, I think Mia
Retarded.
Mod was like
People
a
are
beautiful
nuts.
company because she
But those are not for me. Those are not religious people.
found
They're just costumes.
she helped people find their level of sneer. She helps people find their level of observance, whether you take it full on or you take it maybe
You're right,
instead
but
of wearing the skirt. And so I think that's
in the
beautiful.
Hasidic community, the Orthodox they don't accept that. There's their level or no level.
Yeah.
Unfortunately to them.
I guess you guys just convinced me though. Like Chabad's just the right.
Chabad
Yeah,
is
the right
great.
people.
there's people you have to
Chabad is
want to
great.
do. You
Yeah.
can't be scared.
But
They
I
love
love-
you for who you are.
I love my back to the beginning. My Orthodox. They're not my family's in Boca. They're not modern Orthodox. Like some of them will call themselves modern Orthodox, but I'm like, guys, you're not modern Orthodox. You're Orthodox. But like they also are very accepting, but they're accepting of someone I think like me. I don't know how they would be if
because you're not Jewish. So they're
If-
accepting for you asking questions and being interested. They look at you like you're curious.
yeah.
So they're being nice to you, right? The second, if one day you decide to become Jewish, right? And
yeah.
let's say one day you decide to become Jewish, or I don't know, or your friend decides to become Jewish, or anybody, if
Yeah.
let's say my
They take it very
sister,
seriously. They get angry.
let's
People
say
get
my
angry
sister asked the same questions you did, she'll get scolded for that.
because she's questioning it. I've heard this in Judaism too. Like
Not in Judaism,
no, I've heard.
in ultra Orthodox sectors.
I've heard one of my really good friends, she said like her teacher said to her like in like this super Beis Yaakov type school, she got kicked out. She asked so many questions and she shouldn't be asking these questions. Like
Right.
I think, but then I've also been taught like questions are accepted and they're good in Judaism.
Depends in which sector.
Yeah.
But that's the beautiful thing. And this is why I wanted to bring you here today, so you can give your point of view.
I don't have an answer for him of like
No one does.
why were
He does.
why were you Jewish born and you have to be, and then he keeps saying why do you want to be different, why do you want to be different, and I what I say by that is sure, if you want to be different by standing on your head or eating dinner,
No, I'm
like
just saying
sure, but like
your way is the right way. I'm not arguing with you because you did it out of
I hope still that
out of want.
I think still, like I said earlier, if you have that struggle of like maybe I keep these days or maybe I don't, and I'm asking myself why, I think it's all good.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I do it because I'm still trying to find.
I think
myself.
literally walking away and saying I don't care about Shabbos, I don't care about
No,
any
I
of
believe
that.
in
I
but I
literally
believe in it
am done with it. It's
in my way, which people don't seem to don't want to understand or accept because it's not morally accepted by the public, which
Yeah.
is fine.
yeah,
Which I'm okay with that. All I care about is God understands.
yeah.
That's all I care about. Tomorrow, God understands me because I told my dad.
I have a rabbi who follows me though. I'm gonna send him your stuff. You can.
Oh
He'll teach you maybe. Maybe he'll give you a.
no! You know how many rabbis tried? The problem is that
Yeah.
we were born with it. We were raised with it. It's in our blood.
And your dad's a rabbi.
He's huge, and
Yeah.
he came here and he tried and he tried and he tried, but then
Did he say like I feel like I sent you to the wrong school or he taught it wrong? Because you still have a relationship with him, yeah.
yeah, of course.
And so clearly he has a good mindset. If he didn't, because I feel like there would be people who would just like completely.
It was hard for my father in the beginning to accept it, but my mom, God bless my mom, she was always very open-minded. My mom always told my dad, doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
as long as they're good
Yeah.
people. My mom always said that. Doesn't matter as long as they're good people. In the beginning, my father was hard for him to accept, and now I'm his son. What he has to accept it. I'm saying. So nothing is wrong with. I think nothing is wrong with us. I mean, he's better than me probably to the community's eyes. I don't think nothing's wrong with me, the way I look, if I have a ponytail, and the way I do or what I do, what I eat. Doesn't make me different than the guy who goes to shul 3 times a day,
Yeah.
but is an animal. I'm not saying all of them are chas v'shalom. I'm saying a lot of them are true. I'm just
Mentions.
asking from people not to judge a book by its cover. That's all.
Yeah.
A child doesn't have to be scared to talk
Isn't it-
about or to ask for something from his father or ask questions about religion or Judaism because it's not going to be accepted.
The biggest commandment, isn't it, like to love thy neighbor, right?
There's a lot of things they can learn that.
Yeah, but like
Contradict
they
themselves.
say
There's
too.
some
in-
rabbis who say that you cannot you cannot talk to your wife, say good morning until you go to the mikveh and go down the shachar. These people are crazy in the head. They're extremists.
I know.
These are the people who are, if they had a choice, they would go
Yeah.
blow themselves up for God too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
But those people aren't. But that's not normal. That's not healthy. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not healthy. You experienced it on your own.
I know. So like I
It was your
continuously say
journey.
to anyone here, like they can. I get hate all the time of like, of course she thinks that, and of course she likes that, and she doesn't really know exactly. I never went to a Beis Yaakov type school or a yeshiva.
This is why
seminary.
This is why you chose it. If you went to
Where-
Beis Yaakov school, I think
They were
teach
like,
you
The
to go-
Yiddishkeit you're learning is what God wants us to do.
and that's why I think the kids taught it to me, and also like
And kids are innocent.
through living.
and hopefully, if I don't know what your plans are, but if you don't, I have no idea. But if you do one day, hopefully you could be inspiration to many, many, many young people.
yeah,
she will.
That's our thing, because you're doing it from your heart, from
yeah.
the bottom of your heart. Like, this is what I want
And
my
I say,
way
like,
of
I don't
life
know
to
if
be.
it's right. At the end of the day, we said before, at the
We're
end of the day,
all
we
searching.
could all die, and we could be like, we were wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were doomed.
We're doomed. We're wrong. We don't know, but like,
What are we all looking for, right? We're looking for our soul to be at peace.
yeah.
Exactly. I told my
personally,
dad.
in my
I'm
place
telling
right
you
now,
also.
I feel very at
Yes,
peace.
you do. I feel
Yeah.
at peace now more than I was when I was religious.
Yeah, because I feel like if
No,
you're
he's
doing-
living his truth.
I'm living my truth.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
like
wrong or
this.
not? That's the battle between I have with myself and God every day. And I'm
Yeah.
sure if I was so evil, like I said, God would have already
Punish.
punished or whatever. If that's what they taught us in yeshiva, that Hashem is punishing and whatever.
Right.
Now I went to my kids' PTA, and those rebbes there they teach it so well.
Yeah.
Shout out YCQ.
Yeah, YCQ Rabbi Rovner, whatever. Shout out Rabbi Rovner. I spoke to him, and he was talking to me, and we went to the same background of high school. He went to Long Beach, I went to Peekskill, whatever. And the way he teaches these kids, maybe I would have turned out different if I was taught that way.
Yeah, it's not wrong, but maybe God gave you that story and path to be where you are today, and then
Yeah,
see that, and
that's
then
what I
either
believe
come
too.
back or find your truth. In a
I don't
different
believe I
way.
left.
Inspire,
I don't believe I left at all. I don't believe maybe I changed my
because
ways.
you still feel God is with you, correct?
Yeah,
That's how I feel
I
too.
put film every day.
I still
You know why I
feel-
do it? Because my connection. Not because they're gonna cut my hand off. They say if you don't wear tefillin every day, when you die, when you wake up from a shit,
Yeah, you're gonna have
they're
no
cut
left
your
hand.
hand off. Everybody's gonna know you didn't put tefillin. That's what they teach you in school. They're
When we
crazy.
were raised, they taught us that if you don't
I
you miss a
know.
day of tefillin, Mashiach comes,
Tell
you
you
don't
a
have a hand.
story about my brother.
But why would Mashiach do that? Because he brings
we were
peace
how
in-
old were we?
What?
11 years old.
I know.
You told her the Reese's peanut butter cup story?
With
no,
what?
No, but I'm just saying I hear
With
these things
mom
all
that
the
she
time.
threw up?
No, the Chalav Yisrael, that they told us in Yeshiva, if we eat OUD,
Uh-huh.
which is recess M&Ms, we're gonna die. And my brother's telling me, bro, it's not possible.
but-
the whole world is alive and we can't eat it.
And I'm 11, like super in the
Yeah, Haredi, we didn't know.
That, by the way, that is the age of like one of my nanny kids who I met when he was 7, and I think now he's gonna be like 10 or 11, and they get really religious at this point.
They don't know better. And my brother's like, let's try it. I said, Leo, I don't want to die. He's like, I'll do it first.
So you only ate Chav Yisrael,
What do you mean? We didn't even eat
Pashkin.
OU.
We didn't have OU. OU wasn't kosher.
Only
in my
like
house.
Liebers and like the really
and then
religious.
and then you guys said together.
Then he ate it, and then when I saw he
and
didn't
you
die.
thought you would drop. You really thought you would drop.
No,
dead?
he thought he would
I thought I
drop
would drop
dead.
dead.
And I told him, watch this.
Like he-
I picture you twins in the room and you're
Yeah, we
dead.
went. So we always
As a
shared a
rabbi,
room.
So
He ate it. I'm like, that's when I started asking myself questions. I was like, 11. I'm like, something doesn't make sense here. They raised
Yeah.
us one way, and then it doesn't happen. So then I was asking myself,
just because it's not even not kosher. Chav Yisrael. Wow.
forget that Chalav Yisrael. That's how weird it was. And
And
then,
only people I know who keep Chav is Chabad.
no, my parents, the Hasidic, the ultra religious community keeps
Really?
Chalav Yisrael. But they have the Pas Yisrael and the lettuce
Yeah,
has to
Pas
be racked
Yisrael,
35
Chalav
times
Yisrael.
and this and that and that. This is not
Wow.
for me. Unfortunately, this is not for me. These
I did not know about Chav Yisrael until I started meeting Chabad people, and I went on the Pesach program, and I was like, interesting. But all my Orthodox from religious people in Boca, they eat. They don't eat Chav Yisrael, and they don't care. A lot of them don't
Yeah, it
care.
makes no
But that's
sense.
interesting to me though, because Chabad is more like, or accepting and open. But then if
they do
you
it for
were taught, but
themselves.
you were taught by what type of yeshiva was it?
Sadmer.
It wasn't.
Hasidic,
Sadmer and Litvish.
It was
ultra
okay.
Hasidic and community, ultra.
Interesting. I didn't.
It's
know
only
that.
white shirt, black. We couldn't wear this.
No.
You couldn't have a white shirt. You couldn't have a polo Ralph Lauren that has the horse sign.
Yeah.
We couldn't wear that in yeshiva.
Yeah.
They would throw us out. So it was very different raised. We had to have a certain type of haircut,
So
right?
you only had that, and then you said to yourselves,
No, as we
let's
got
try
older
it.
and I got
Let's
older
try
and I got
it.
older, I started to
"Do
ask
you remember?"
myself.
No, so
I
he
always-
didn't
I ask
try.
People, I
So
ask people
he-
this question, and you don't have to say it online, but do you remember the first time you broke Shabbos? ever?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you
Of
remember?
course.
Like
I
an intentional, like I'm breaking Shabbos.
We
like,
were kids. We were
You were
already bar
kids.
mitzvah.
They're-
No,
kids were always
we were
kids.
16
We
already.
were eating on Tisha B'Av.
Tisha B'Av, I was eating pizza and playing in my dad's show computer upstairs, hiding.
Then we go home, we believe we fasted and eat my mom's food, so she think we fasted. Because I told him, like, what are we doing here? Sitting here, okay, basically just, we have to suffer now. It's hot. It's
The
fucking
basic
80
guy.
degrees
He
outside.
introduced me to my first. What's funny is with Moshe, he was always quiet.
Yeah, but
was
the
always the
quiet
quiet
ones,
one.
I'm telling you
Right,
right now,
are the
I know
deadliest
from
ones.
kids, the quiet ones are the ones thinking. Like,
Right. And I was the one that, hey, like him, this is me, take it or leave it. So he was always like, I'm scared this is going to happen. I said, oh, okay, we had pails too, right? We had like the pails.
You had pay.
Oh, big
Yeah.
ones. Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to show me a photo of you guys. As a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, when we're done. And then how old was we? 17? Yeah, we were 17 and we're...
That's when you first broke Shabbos.
No, I was
Oh.
like 16, I think.
Hiding
Wow.
my I didn't even have a phone then.
We didn't have a
What did
phone
we do? I don't even remember how we broke. I remember just one time.
Let
I'm
me
like,
think.
you know what? I thought we were dying. I thought life is over. Like I felt so. First time I ate not kosher, I'm like, oh my god, I'm probably gonna choke on it. Those people who have like the foam coming out of their mouth. That's what I thought was gonna happen to me. Then as I saw it, that nothing's happening. I'm like, yo, they lied to me this whole
Oh.
fucking time. So something doesn't make sense. And
That's upsetting, though. I see why you feel lied
then I went to
to.
rabbinical school.
Feel lied to.
And after I got married at 18, right? 18, 19. We went to rabbinical school. I lived in Israel, did rabbinical school for 3 years. And the more I learned, the more I saw that you're allowed to do shit that they don't let you.
I think
I'm like, what am I doing?
you said earlier, if you pull apart Judaism, it gets beautiful. But I think if
Right.
you sit there and pull apart Judaism, it starts to be confusing and think this doesn't make sense. But that's why I think you should just take it for like, you do this to be Jewish and
Because
to be different.
you know
and
why it's
to find
confusing?
the
Because the
connection.
ultra-Orthodox sect took Judaism and said this is the way it is and took it to themselves.
Yeah.
They don't say, no, there's no other. This is either our way or the highway. And that's the way everybody was raised. And then you
Mm-hmm.
grade up, you're like, wait, but it's not either my way or the highway. And that's why everybody's getting confused. That's what happened.
It's if
The
you start
ultra-Orthodox
thinking,
took religion and said this is the way it's supposed to be, the way we see it.
Yeah.
I guess they sat and they decided all these rules, which is great, but they didn't realize that in 2024, not everybody's going to be on that level to keep those rules.
Yeah.
So how do we get people connected to God and not feel like they're not connected to God, even though they're not
You
keeping
don't wanna guilt
all
them
the
'cause you
rules?
feel like the trauma for sure. But people say to me like, yeah, but really they don't use their lights on Shabbos. Come on, like really, like, does God really care? And that's the thing. Like I don't know. I never went to seminary. I never went to Jewish day school to know the like true halacha of like.
There's no true
well,
halacha. They invented the
it's
halacha.
it's
What do you mean? You can
basically-
turn on the light machine anytime
Yeah.
you
Okay,
want.
light is a little bit because it's electric. But
No,
let's
but
say
you can do it with
let's
you can do it the
say,
different. They could do it in a different way.
Let's say grinding on Shabbos. You can't
Right.
grind
Right.
on Shabbos. That was something you couldn't do now. You couldn't do back then either.
Right,
But
because the
why?
Mishkan.
So
Because the Mishkan. That's
Yeah,
the
but-
Mishkan. Lam Tanilachon.
But-
so
okay, but today
Right.
you grind we got. Then it was such hard labor when you grinded. They told you not to do it. But today,
it's
the whole
it's
point of Shabbos is not to work, not to
to be
sweat.
mindful of
Yeah.
it's Shabbos, a holy day.
Doesn't mean you
of
have to
God.
put yourself in a fucking
and make it
solitary
different.
confinement for 25 hours and
But-
not do nothing.
What I always say to like people when they say is like, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. They do the three. I'm like, maybe it is ridiculous when you think about it. It is quite sounding ridiculous. But if that's the way that they want to keep to like connect and it makes them mindful of making that day different from every other day in the week, then
Do
good
it.
for them. It doesn't harm anybody.
No.
Good for them. Let them
Oh,
do it.
they
you
harm
know?
they harm people when they make other people do it too. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't make other people do your restrictions. Do it, no problem.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's
I
right to raise
accept
your
it.
children with a good
Yeah.
school.
You want,
and never,
my
like,
kids go
make
to a
them
good school.
feel
They go this, they
forced
do
for
that, and
it.
whatever they decide tomorrow in the future, I would always want them to be close to God.
Yeah.
I don't care about the yarmulke, and I don't care about the white shirt. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. The tzitzit words, I don't care.
Yeah.
Have a connection with God.
I
That's
think
all
it's
I want.
important,
That's
yeah.
all I want for my children. That's all I want for people also. Even
And
these
some
kids.
people's connection through God is by eating chodesh al kosher.
That's fine. Do it.
Yeah.
Like I always told my dad, he told me, you're not happy. I said, Dad, you're happy doing what you do. Yes, so do it. I'm not telling you to change your ways. Let me
Yeah.
find my own way. Let me experience my own way.
Chabad, I feel like really facilitates that because I'm one of my very best friends. She like basically her job is she like learns with like Baal Tshuva's like non-religious people,
Mm.
and she's such a good person for it because like she's very religious and observant, but like she never makes you like when I traveled with her in Greece, like I would ask her these things and she never made me feel dumb or for asking those questions or for having the thing of like I don't think that's right or that was a nice way, but I could never imagine it. It's not fair. I agree. It's definitely not fair.
That's what I'm trying. That's my whole motto.
So I
is.
always publicly say, like, I'm thankful. I hope that you grew up differently. So obviously you have this like this fight inside you. But like, I hope with my page and the way I view it as, I could at least inspire to see, like, I know I had like people who grew up, why don't we grow up in like South Africa, Ethiopia, you know, like very poor. We already are blessed as is to be living the lives we live. It's easier life, you know what I mean? But like, it's easy for us to say these things, you know what I mean? It's easy for me to say, oh, like, I think it's beautiful. Like, and I understand why you have the struggle, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I hope that I can inspire, I suppose, and like.
Of course, I would listen to somebody like you or somebody who's semi than somebody who's orthodox. That's my personal opinion, because they're coming from a point of judgment.
Yeah, and then I don't know all like all the Hebrew and Torah laws. I don't know it.
There is. The problem is that we learned it.
Yeah.
So people, when they start telling us stuff
I
we
like
can't
to
do,
hear.
we learned it. We
I
went to yeshivas, we learned it,
never
we
knew
dissected it, we
that
wrote.
You were taught that you could drop dead from.
Yeah.
I never, or the arm. I did hear the arm actually, the arm thing, like getting cut off. But I didn't think it was
crazy.
Mashiach that was going to do it. I thought it was like
No,
that you
like,
just would like
you-
get
yeah,
it
you
cut
get-
off or something.
Yeah, you get, well, when you wake up from resurrection, the arm is not there. So everybody
Yeah.
knows that you didn't put on tefillin. Or they say that if you, what they say?
We're going to crazy stories
if you masturbate a lot, excuse my language, you're gonna be burned in hot semen in heaven. How do you know?
Semen.
How do you know? Were you there? What is? Let's go about what is
Oh.
hell?
Yeah.
They told us they're gonna take your like a stick, put your soul on it, and burn it like a fire, and you're sitting there as a child. You're fucking traumatized.
Christianity too, by
What
the way,
are you?
says you're gonna burn eternally in a lake of fire.
What are you saying to these children?
Yeah, Christianity, I'd say, is probably.
Then they
worse
say
than
on
Judaism.
Shabbat they take you out so you can see what heaven is, and then they throw you right back in on Saturday night.
Oh. Yeah, I'm laughing.
Am I wrong,
I'm
Benji?
only-
Agreed 100%.
I'm only allowed to laugh because I also like was raised with a massive like concept of hell. I was taught that in hell it's eternal, and the entire time you're always going to be reminded of all the opportunities you had to
what?
believe, and you chose not.
Belief
to.
is a
And
choice.
it's gonna run on a TV and remind
Yeah,
you.
belief is a
It
choice.
scares me still to this day.
How does it
scares
run
me.
on TV though? There's this spiritual world of there's no TVs. Right? That's number one
In
question.
hell, I guess it's TV because hell wants to
There's
break
no-
shop.
There's no TV though. It's a spiritual world, right?
I don't
They
know.
think God is everywhere, so God cannot be human too, right? This
I
guy's in
definitely,
these four
like I
walls.
said, I sit around and think about it. I also feel a little scared sometimes. I used to never feel scared, but I always was like, I'm scared, I'm worried, but I know I have a relationship with God.
So don't be scared. There's nothing to be worried about.
I trusted. You know, that's
There's nothing to be.
where I was
I'm
at.
closer to God now than I was when I was religious.
I always say I am closer to God now than I was, I think, my entire life. And I also like to say that I think Christians are always trying to convert people and, you know, this is the only way. But I always used to say, you know, if Christians lived their lives like a religious observant Jew, I think they'd be better Christians, truthfully. I do, because I think Judaism puts religion in every aspect of life, and Christianity doesn't have that. But some people might like it that way.
Yeah. You know that the first Christians were Jews, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, Jesus was a Jew, left,
and
and who was his followers? Jews.
and also no, like the Roman Catholics, right? They were the ones. I think the whole reason it started was they were like, "Oh, we'll join you," and the Jews were like, "No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you. We don't. You do you, we do us." And they were like, "But why?" And then they created a religion very, very similar. If you look at them, very similar. They have the Sabbath Sunday. You have it on Saturday.
Right.
You know,
Arabs the Muslims have it on Friday.
do they? Yeah.
Yeah, today is 2:00 around. They have they go prayers that they don't work.
It's
If you go-
so interesting.
So if you go to the Middle East on Friday,
This
everybody's
is when
closed.
I said, once again, you grew up thinking one thing, that's all you had.
Right.
I grew up thinking one thing too. And then I started to question myself, why would my nanny kids grow up and leave Judaism? Why would they? You, even if you're less observant now, you're not going to become a Muslim, you're not going to become Christian. You're still your belief. And so I started saying, because my religion taught me that, you know, they're going to hell. And I said to myself, if someone came down to all three of us here and said, you know, like this, mushroom is your Mashiach, your Messiah, and that's the truth. We would all go, I don't believe you, but I would believe, you know, what Christianity taught me, or you would believe if. So it's not fair.
Correct.
It's not fair.
Exactly what you're just saying right now. Correct. It's exactly what she's saying right. Exactly.
But we
what
both
you're saying.
raised differently. Right. And I would say, I was also raised, you go to church saying you're going to hell. And then something very, very bad happened to my little sister. And I remember asking the pastor, because he went to church with us, this man who did something very bad to my little sister, and said, is he in heaven now? Because he was Christian. He said, well, yeah, because all sin's the same, and he is. And, you know, as long as before he died, he said, God, forgive me Jesus, forgive me of my sins. And I said, but meanwhile, my nanny kids are going to hell.
No.
Right.
I don't believe, kids don't go to hell.
Of course not.
Yeah, but kids grow up to be adults, and why would that kid grow up and believe anything different than what they were raised for generations in their community? Why? Oh, I feel so bad. I don't ever want to like bash other religions. I really
not bashing
don't.
nobody. We're talking about everybody.
I'm truthfully sharing my experience. And if you see my podcast, you know, a year ago, I wouldn't have said this. It just over time, I just started thinking, and maybe I'll start nannying for a Buddhist family, and maybe then I'll go into the Buddhist community and start thinking there, right? So you know what I mean?
All religions are based on the same thing.
Even the Hamsa, right? That's in Judaism. I always thought it was something in.
The Arabs have it, right? Fatima, whatever. It's against
the evil eye.
So we all took. So all the Jews. So we were raised together with Arabs in the Middle East with the Muslims. So we, more or less, have the same culture, same food.
It's so interesting.
Same dress code, same whatever, same beliefs, same whatever. You know.
I don't know who's right.
Same amount of hate also.
I don't know who's right. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know. If
each one hates the other the same way.
But
right. That's what it is. It's everything the same.
I just trust God. That's what I trust. You know.
Yeah.
I've prayed and have my prayers answered.
That's what I do also. I believe in.
Yeah.
I like I said the other week. I do
he goes by himself and just goes to the forest, and
I talk to God that way. It's called
there's a Hebrew term for
Hitbodedut. It's called
Hitbodedut. Like you're sitting there. Hitbodedut.
So yeah, very interesting to me that like a lot of Jews, they don't have that personal just like prayer, connection, talk. So they just will read the Hebrew, and some of them I say to them, do you
they don't
read it? They don't even know what it says. And I'm like, okay, well, like
No, I'm just saying that, guys, this is why we brought her here, so we can have another perspective from a non-Jewish way, from a non-Jewish person that's looking at it, learning, trying to study and learn as we go. And I hope this answers some of your questions. Adriana, thank you for coming.
Yeah, maybe it didn't answer the questions, but maybe it's inspired, hopefully. I don't know. I feel also inspired by all of you guys. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.